Hello guys, welcome to another awesome video today. Uh, it's me, Crazy Zombie, and I'm gonna do something kind of different. I've never done this before. I tried it one time, didn't really work out as well. So I'm doing this again, and I have a friend, and I'd like you to meet Pokemon Master. He is at least my friend for now, but there'll be other friends down the line. But for now, uh, we have just watched. We just did watch a movie that came out when it came out.
Mr. P.
No.
Well,
You don't say the name.
um, the movie that we watched came out in 2014.
So about since it's 2025, it's been about 12 years or about 10 years. Oh, here. So 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. It's about 16 years. Holy crap. Oh, wait, no. Not 16 years. 11 years, because I was counting. Okay, so it's been 11 years. So it's, and to this day, this movie does still hold up as animation, like, good. It's a good movie.
It is quite impressive.
Let me just hold the box. And if you don't know what this movie is, okay. This is like a DreamWorks version of Meet the Robinsons. If you remember Meet the Robinsons, it's about a boy named Lucas, and he creates a time, he doesn't create a time machine. He creates a memory scanner that like can scan your memories and stuff, and then when it gets destroyed by some dude, he runs into his future brother, and his future,
his future son,
yeah, which is
who is Wilbur.
Wilbur Robertson. Um, he basically tells Lucas that you need to go back to the science fair and go back and do your project. He's like, get out of my way. And it's not until he decides to take him to the future to actually show him that he's from the future and stuff like that. And what ends up happening is that Lucas basically finds out that in the future he is a dad in the future, and he's invented a lot of stuff, mostly of that. But we're not talking about that one. We're talking about the one that we just watched. It's a DreamWorks film. You know, DreamWorks has done good movies. I think their last movie after this was How to Train Your Dragon.
Yep, which is coming out.
No. It's the animated one, not the not the one that.
Actually, their last animated one was, I think. Oh wait, it was It was the Wild Robot.
No, we're talking not recent.
Oh.
We're talking about the ones that are from the old past.
Oh, from the old past.
So it's from the makers that made Cruise and How to Train Your Dragon. So I'm going with this came out maybe after they did How to Train Your Dragon 2, or because this had to be before Megamind.
That sounds about right.
So this movie was like in between, because this came out 2014, because Comic Panda came out in 2008, correct?
Yeah.
And then House of Dragon came out in 2010.
That sounds about right.
I believe so. You guys, you can tell us if we're wrong about that, but
Yep. Just let us know in the comments below.
We're a little bit sidetracked of like most movies, because we don't really keep track of the years, because who keeps track of the years? I mean, that's just every year is new, something new.
Yep.
But we're talking about a movie that is pretty much special to us. I mean, I've watched it 3 times. This is my 4th time watching it, and he's watched it many times. He's known the characters and stuff, and that is
Mr. Peabody and Sherman, which you might know from the television series of Mr. Peabody and Sherman
Yeah, it was back in the 90s.
back in the 90s,
Wait,
which
I think
which the animation for that is a little bit different from.
no, it was made by DreamWorks. It was also made by 20th Century Fox for their also animated movies like Ice Age and what was another one they made? Ice Age, Rio was Rio one wasn't in Ice Age, like, right?
I think so.
And then they did the last movie they did was Spy in the Skies, correct?
That. Yes, that is. That's correct.
Okay, so if you don't know what Peabody and Sherman is, I'll kind of give you like a breakthrough like from the cartoon. It is about a talking beagle that has the ability of speech. He is very smart. He wears a bow tie or a red bow tie. He wears a red bow tie and glasses, and he's very intelligent. Would you say like he's like not Einstein intelligent, but like
He's
I mean he's like
he's pretty intelligent, but like
he's not like
he's not like
brainiac
he's not like a he's not like a scientific. Well, it's
He
kind of
can-
hard to put it.
It's
It's
not
like
it's kind of like he has the brains of the smartest people in the world mixed into a dog, basically.
pretty much.
So he has everything that's like he has some like smartness of maybe a bit of Einstein, a bit of like other people from other histories, um, and basically Peabody was a dog. He's been but he's a talking dog
And
that lives in New York, and he's smart, but he's also the only one that kind of like invented a lot of the stuff that helped New York out, like its city, its policies, its laws. He did a lot of stuff for them. He even invented like
He
cows the shit into a engine to make it go. You saw that, didn't you?
yeah, that it was
What?
pretty insane. Like
What the fuck?
like who would
Who
want a car that's run
by your own
that's
shit?
run by cow
You gotta quiet down.
cow poop.
Or cow dung, just dung. Okay.
Anyways,
The point is that Peabody's super smart. He does a lot of stuff for the community, and for the longest time, he's been doing it for a lot. He's super rich. He has a house. Like it's the biggest tower in the city, right? Or is it like the biggest like house that they have?
it's a
Have you noticed that it looks like Peabody?
it's
It's a white house with the red stuff on it.
it's a penthouse.
Yeah, it's like a
Penthouse apartment.
Yeah. You can say
He's
kind of like if you took Corey in a house, but if he was a dog.
yeah,
Can you say that it's like Corey, but with like a dog,
yeah, probably.
and then like, so basically, what ends up happening is that in the show he adopts this baby boy named Sherman that he names. I think he names him because
because in the box, Sherman was covered in a blue blanket,
Yeah,
and
but he
then
didn't
there was
have-
a sign that said Sherman.
Oh, it did? Oh, okay. So Sherman came from a box. He was, I guess, an orphan. So I guess the original family didn't want him. So that's messed up. Who the freak leaves their own baby child in the middle of the street? That's unhealthy.
That
Okay,
and
okay. You remember how it's in Meet the Robinsons where Lucas was a baby and but his mom. I can understand the reason why his mom left him because she couldn't take care of him. But for Sherman, he was just left there like he was nothing.
he was abandoned
As a boy,
as
a baby,
as a baby boy, which
is kind of that's the one part that just fucking is the
which
one.
is just completely messed up.
It
and
makes
parents,
no sense.
And parents, if you're watching this,
Don't
do anything like that.
No, don't.
or
don't encourage
don't
people.
don't encourage people to do something like that.
Well, of course I know they won't, but it's like, but you don't, but
But
you don't say it like that. You like say it like, don't like if someone has like a deformity, like don't like make them as like the rut in the litter. Like they're not because they're part of you because you were the one that made them. Anyways, Peabody finds a kid. He decides to take him in because no one else has, and since he's the most intelligent dog and he can talk to a human, he's the only one that can actually understand humans. So he basically takes Sherman in as his boy, as his own son, and then he had to go through like a bunch of court stuff. He had to file some like treaty to get a human to be with him. He had to like right.
he had to go through a
like a law, like
he had
because in the law is like you can't because dogs
because
a dog can't always because the law states is that you're a dog and a dog cannot have a child because it doesn't work like that. But
because
because Peabody's so smart, he's able to uh, own that sort of purpose. Like when you say so, it's like he's just kind of like I just want to make him like feel good. Isn't his reasons like he just feels like he
like
because his story, his backstory is that he was just like just a regular puppy, like a regular beagle. The reason why
yeah
no one took him was not because he was like not good. It's just that he just was too smart, and
and
he talked. So
so
that's why.
plus I believe exactly the exact words that he said was,
I just realized. What does that you look like?
my gosh. Anyways, I believe the exact words that he said is that when I saw Sherman, it reminded me of myself
Yeah, because
when
it
I
did
started.
because of his his deformity of not his deformities, but he's just too smart for an actual person to own. Because if someone was owning a puppy like that, they'd be like super rich. But the things that are on this world is they don't like that. It's like weird. They're more into like actual real dogs, which is weird. There are real dogs in the world, but Peabody's the only one that is smart. You would think the other dogs would be smart like him because they got a dog like that. And for one, where was his parents? How did Peabody become Peabody? Was his parents smart? Like that's the question. It's like
That's
he was
that. That's a really big question.
like because he says he was in a dog shelter, a farm, and he was born with like this. He was born with smartness. He was born with intelligence. That's it. But we never get a backstory of his parents. Like there's no backstory. Like there's just like oh, this is what he looks like. He's just a little dude, a little puppy, has a big bow tie and glasses, and he's just super smart. And he reads like was he reading like a encyclopedia?
He was reading. I don't know if it was an encyclopedia or if it was like
A poem book?
it was. It was some sort of book. It was the book size was almost as big as this.
Yeah. And I'm always thinking like, how the freak a puppy can actually lift that up?
Like, and seriously, when you think of a puppy, you think of like just like a cute little dog, and
He's just reading it like
and
this. It's just
and
like,
then and he's reading it like this, and then someone comes up to
yeah,
him and is like, hey, go fetch.
no,
He's like,
no, the boy says like, hey boy, go fetch, and then like,
He's-
and then Peabody does he literally says this. He says like, why? It's a,
just
he says
go
something
get,
called.
go fetch. Why don't you fetch it?
No, he says, why should I go and get it? It's a youthful of fertility. He said like something like that.
Something around those lines.
Yeah, so he's like, he basically mocked him. And then the boy's like, I don't want this one, mommy. He's too like,
He's too weird.
no, he says he's too, intellectic. That's what he said, like, too smart. And it's sad because, like, even he said like, "Oh no, wait, I could heal, I could bark, I could stretch the stick." And he tries to bark, and he can't even bark.
He
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 he just says the
he
word
he
bark.
just says the word bark.
Have you seen like Underdog? How he barked like actually like a dog, but there was actually remember the one point where he did bark. So he said the word bark one time, and it's like okay, theoretically that's funny, but like okay. Anyways, Peabody he adopts Sherman because of the court. He was able to do it. I think it wasn't he got lucky. He just his speech allowed the court to allow him to have Sherman. So ever since he got Sherman, he basically he's been like his dad for a long time, and he's been teaching him how to be better like a kid. But to make it so that he able to learn in school, he decided to. I think Sherman, because it said in the movie that Sherman was the one that inspired Peabody to make a time machine,
And they
which makes no sense because he was a baby. Unless before like he got to his toddler age, he just like said, "Pete Papa, Tom Tom."
so anyways, they call so it's a red orb.
Yeah, it's this like red orb like not apple, but like it looks like a
It looks like a
red. It's like a red round orb with like a little window on it, and basically what that is, it's called the Wayback. It allows basically Peabody and Sherman to go into time, um, and it's cool. Um, did you like how they kind of broke the fourth wall the first like when we watched when we first watched it after the intro? It actually does it twice. When when the actual intro is playing, um, Sherman is like in the DreamWorks logo, and he's like he becomes like subconscious, and he looks around, and he's like, oh, and he uses the visual lines like, ooh,
so
and he
if
like
you so
you know
yeah if you've ever seen the intro for DreamWorks, a
yeah
it shows a boy and he
it's
has a fishing
yeah
pole and then he swings it around. The hook grabs the clouds and then it pulls up the
yeah
word DreamWorks.
yeah. If anyone knows about the DreamWorks intro, it's more like the moon, like an actual moon, and it fades towards a crescent, and then as the crescent comes, it has the balloon boy or the fishing rod person. Truth be told, that fishing rod boy is actually it was a real boy that they used to make that. They actually it was the original um, like a boss. The boy, the original like the boss. I forgot his name. The CEO. The CEO's like grandson. They used him to do the actual like logos. So that's what that is. Um, anyways, but at the second part, Peabody is like he gestures Sherman to come over, and he says to Sherman, "Come on," and the greatest gift of all was my son Sherman. And then Sherman comes in, he's like, "Hello, Mr. Peabody," and then like, and then Peabody kind of like gestures him to like look at the screen, and then Sherman's like, "Oh, have you tried like we try I'll try doing it." Like he says like, have you told them about the way back?
I just came to that part.
I mean, that was perfect. I mean, it's interesting to say like how they are not self-aware, but it kind of like was like a break the fourth wall joke.
It's
There's
so
there's like
there's for those
I
of you
think
who are Marvel fans,
like Deadpool.
there's a Marvel character who who's had his third movie.
Yes,
Um,
and
you guys
he's
know
called
him well as Deadpool.
Mark of the Mouth. Deadpool has the ability to he's self-aware. So basically, in the comics, he'll say like, "Hey reader, read this comic. Read this page. Read what I'm saying right now." And then
So
you'll read it, and then he'll say like, "Okay, stop reading there." And then he'll say like, "Watch me slice these guys," or like
he 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 basically breaks the fourth wall and
every
like talks to
Yeah.
the people who are watching.
There are like moments in the comic where, like, Deadpool will say, "The reader's watching us, Wolverine," and Wolverine's like, "I'll cut them," and it's funny.
He is funny as heck.
Because if you actually turn the page, there's actually like Wolverine sliced the page, so it looked like he cut through the page. I was like,
Anyways.
oh, that's actually cool. All right.
Anyways, back to...
Okay. So basically, the idea is that Sherman and Peabody, they're husband, they're like their dad and son. And the first part is that Sherman and Peabody go to Washington.
They go to... So,
It is
they
Washington,
go to
right?
the time of the French Revolution.
Right. So where shoot, who was that dude? The dude with the glasses. Who was he? Was he?
I can't remember what.
It's this guy.
I can't remember.
I think his name was Pierce Ravier.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, Pierce Ravier. He was. He's the one that was in the French Revolution. But before that happens, they're at this like giant like mansion, and they're eating cake because for some reason there was this one woman that loved eating cake for some reason.
Basically loved things that had frosting.
Yeah, basically. But sweets, just like she was just into sweets. Which I'm wondering, how could she not get fat?
And also, how did... Also, another question that probably a lot of you are wondering, how did they have cake back then?
That is...
Like, and how did they come up with frosting back then? Because if you think about it, it's like...
Yeah, the baking would have been like a long time, but I guess they weren't too far in history. Because, the French Revolution had like swords, and they had guillotines, they had like the ability to make like actual like ovens, sort of ovens. So I guess in reality it could work. I mean, baking wasn't that far off if they had ovens. Anyways, well, the idea is that since Peabody's so smart, he knows a lot of the time. So he basically tells Sherman what time like is in different periods of time when he gets the way back. So since they've gone into the French Revolution, he knows a lot of like everything that was going on in the French Revolution. Like for instance, when he says, because Sherman like he runs away after some person throws a brick into the window. But before that happens, they're about to eat cake, and all of a sudden the Grand Vizier says, let them eat cake." And then like out in the window, like outside, everyone's like, "And when the Queen said that they should eat cake, they."
And the Queen said, "Without a piece of bread for the poor, let them eat cake."
It was an outrage. And then they kept him like, and there was one joke that was funny, where like there's like one guy says like, "Wait, what kind of cake?" And he gets punched.
It's quite funny.
I don't get that. Like, why have one person get their ass kicked?
Just because why have one person be punched just because of one simple question? Like,
it doesn't make sense. It's just
like he asked a simple question, like, what kind of cake? Like,
and they're like, punch.
And he got punched. Like,
okay, I'm gonna do the thing so that it actually makes sense. So you say like everyone's like, "It's an outrage," and then you say like,
"Juan, what kind of cake?" Oh, it was that kind of thing.
I think it's the gag. I think they just probably put that a little in there. And then they throw a brick in, and then after it smashes like one of the cakes, Peabody knows it.
Well,
like,
it smashed the cake that they were eating.
Smushed it down like it was eating. And then Peabody's like, "Smashing party, Your Majesty," which is actually a good pun. That was good.
It was a really good pun.
And then he's
which
like,
actually fit well with the scenario.
Yeah, because as soon as he's like, "Smashing good party, Your Majesty," but me and Sherman have to go.
And And then he
of course he's like,
realized,
Sherman, here, boy.
like,
Like a
basically
he's
like a
actual
person calling
dog.
for a dog.
But it's a dog because of dad, so he's trying to be like a dog to the boy. It's a bit on the nose. Like
it gets pretty crazy. Anyways,
Sherman is eating cake. He doesn't understand that because Peabody's like, Sherman, didn't I tell you that you're supposed to stick by me by the before the French Revolution? And he's like, yeah, you said it was going to rain, and then he's like, close.
the reign of terror.
And then all these guards busted in, and they're like, take the aristocrats.
Which
Wait, I just realized.
which is
Aristocrats?
which
But it's a phrase
actually
like the Wildcrats?
no, actually that's a Disney title. The
Oh,
Aristocrats.
yeah. They just mod Disney.
Which
That's
is
bitch. That's a bitch slap, like saying, fuck you.
oh
We could do that.
oh not to mention later on during okay just forget about what I was about to tell you.
No, just do it. Just do it quietly. You know.
All right. Um. So, if you guys have ever seen the movie Emperor's New Groove
I think everyone has.
by Disney, so there's this character named Kronk.
Yeah.
They go to the time. So later on, they go to the time of the Trojan War.
No, we're skipping like a lot of the movie.
Let's.
No. We're trying to digest what we saw. I'm trying to, and we'll get to that point, but we have to start with the beginning because we don't really know like we're getting why they went back to the past. We're just starting the first part of
Right,
what's going on. So basically, Peabody gets captured. He's about to get guillotined, which is like, oh my god, they're going the guillotine thing.
It's during that time it's
Yeah, like it was.
it's an
it was dark.
execution.
Yeah, I get it, but like, DreamWorks going with guillotines. I mean, I know Pirates of the Caribbean could do was dark, and they could get away with that one. But the thing is that this is an animated film, and they're trying to.
Well, also
there's like.
also you have to go on with the fact that they're going through history.
Yeah, I see that. But anyways, Peabody almost gets guillotined. He literally tells because Sherman's like, what should I do, Peabody? Like, I'll be Sherman, you do Peabody. Sherman's like, Peabody, what should I do?
Just stay calm. Everything will be okay.
But Mr. Peabody.
Just stay calm. Everything will be just fine.
And of course, like, it so happened to be perfect that his light from the glasses was able to knock the guy from being able to see a bit, which allowed Peabody to swiftly, like do this one maneuver that's insane. He grabs a melon as soon as the guillotine is about to slice his head off, and then it slices the melon, and then he gets into the sewer.
Actually, it's a cantaloupe.
Well, it's a kind of melon, you know, and then like Pierce Revier is like he takes
a cantaloupe.
No, he's like a cantaloupe, the lowest of the fruits. Who dares stop me with this melon? And then Peabody grabs Sherman because he fell unconscious. Because it makes sense. It was like a boy. Like if they think his head got cut off. He's like
like you know how people are like when they see something that like really grosses them out, like they like faint.
Yeah, it's pretty natural for someone because
it's common sense.
Anyways, he faints. He's knocked out for a bit. Peabody grabs him, and then of course Pierce is like, "Get that dog!" And then Peabody explains what I just said to because Sherman's like, Sherman's like, Peabody, how'd you do it? And then like Peabody just explains the same thing, but in his scientifical brain, which is actually kind of cool. It reminded me of the Good Doctor, because the Good Doctor has that sort of thing where like he'll do like these like brain like
So,
things in that show.
well, if any of you guys have seen The Good Doctor,
It's a show about
It's a-
like an autistic doctor that has the ability to do surgeries really well. Like he's like really
And-
smart.
and one of the things that is really cool is that when he's
Doing that,
doing it,
he
he
can,
sees like
inside someone's body.
he sees
can,
like the outcomes of
their
the procedure
the
before
problem.
before it can.
Yeah, he takes like there was like a moment where he took a bunch of MRIs of all the pictures, and then he just and then then sees it, and we see it in his brain how he interprets that, and he's able to make an entire map of that, and find what's going on.
But it's like it's not on like a piece of paper or anything. It's
Yeah.
like all digitalized
Yeah,
on the
so-
screen, which is pretty insane.
Which is basically what Peabody can do. Like he's what we're saying from his mind is that he's able to literally see what what we don't see at first, because we're just concentrated on Peabody and Sherman, but Sherman's is just doing something in the background while Peabody's actually thinking to actually get out of the situation, which I actually like. He's just like he said, he's an average intelligent dog, so he knows before he's about to get himself guillotined. But anyways, Peabody and Sherman they're in the sewers, and they're being chased by P.S. Rainier with her soldiers. They slide down a pipe, and Sherman says they fall in this water, and Sherman's like, yeah, this water tastes terrible. And then
Peabody's like,
then Peabody's like, oh, that's
surprisingly, that's not water.
which is a sewage joke, because he was drinking sewage water, which is like crap,
Which is
pee and
which
crap,
is really disgusting. And
and did you notice how the sewers work? They were just big giant like cracked like bricks with pipes. That well, okay. I don't know if that would actually work, but okay, whatever. They get P.S. Ritter does get to them, and then Peabody does like this one move that where he like says to P.S. Ritter like, "Oh, don't take my trusted companion," and then he takes him away, and then he throws a melon at him again, a cantaloupe again.
he actually throws the other half.
Yeah, he throws the other half, and then his sword, like as he threw it, the sword goes to him, and then he's like, "Oh, another cantaloupe!"
Not too shabby, I must say.
And of course, like,
And then
Peabody says, like, Sherman, now it's time for fencing lessons. Go.
No physics.
Yeah, it was fencing lessons because it was
Is pop quiz and fencing.
Yeah, pop quiz on fencing, but I was right. It was fencing. If you fencing is that sport where you have those big swords and you have to do like a thing to them. But anyways, like he is like he does some good moves, and then he literally rips pants off him.
so there's characters who have this kind of thing, which there's Zorro and Puss in Boots, who have this like signature thing that they do with their swords.
Yeah, they did like a weird like slice, and then it slices like something like Pearson could do it, and then Peabody did it, and he just sliced P.S. Reader's like underpants.
And
no, it was actually his pants, not his pants. But he was wearing. Did you notice he was wearing star-bangled boxers?
No, he was wearing underpants that had hearts on them.
Oh, so that means he loved his undies.
Which is kind of funny if you think about it.
Love undies. But anyways, Peabody, he basically like shoots the sword out of one of the column of the ceilings, It goes up. He does a cool backflip over him in slow motion, and then the thing just falls and slams him on the ground. They're about to attack Peabody. Peabody throws the sword at the wall. They're like, "Ha! You missed!"
I never miss.
And then the wall breaks and water starts to pool in, which is like, could that happen? Could you throw a sword and actually break something?
Well,
It's wood.
depending. Well,
Unless it's unless they built it wrong, you know, like they if one move
also
was
it had
broke,
to have to do with the amount of water pressure.
yeah, but like the thing is that it's wood and water. You've seen how wood reacts with water. Water, if there's enough pressure, the water can easily just push out. It doesn't matter if there's something that you're trying to block it. So
Like-
I'm guessing that what happened was he threw it at the right angle, and it just made the perfect crack so now the water can actually get through and actually start to pull in. They get on the sewage drain
The sewer,
like dish. It's a dish, right? Like manhole. That's what it's called, manhole.
manhole.
Basically, they jump on the wooden manhole and they start surfing on it with water. And it reminded me of Flushaway, where that rat. No, it was, frick, what was his name?
It was a.
His name was I know what kind of like name he was. I'm trying to remember.
If you guys can remember his name, listen in the comments below.
I know his name. I just try to remember the Rudy. That's,
Rudy.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
never mind
it was
that.
Rudy because Rudy had that same. He went down the sewer pipe and he's basically surfing on the waves. There's a meme in there where he thinks he grabbed a poo, but he grabs a candy bar. Okay, so anyways, Peabody senses a smell that is basically methane gas. Like it's like if you know what methane gas smells like, it smells like shit. It smells like really bad odor. And Sherman thinks like, I'm sorry, Peabody, I farted, and it's a fart joke. But he's like, no, he's like, I know you didn't do it, Sherman, but don't you smell the methane gas in this pipe, which will allow us to blow us out of here. So what he does, he slides the manhole pipe onto to the side of the bricks. It makes the methane light up.
So he takes the manhole cover.
Yeah, the manhole cover.
And presses it down
over the bricks.
Causing it to like a spark.
Yeah, the friction spark, and then it explodes, and then they explode right out of the sewage like drain pipe out the outside as a rocket. They went flying like up into the sky.
Sherman's like this, while Peabody's like he's surfing.
Like he has no problem. And then as Sherman sees the chaos, it's like everything explodes, all the pipes explode. It looks like fireworks. And then they seemingly land over a giant tree. And Peabody's like, nice landing, Sherman. And Sherman like falls
face first
on
and
his
then
glasses.
And so they get back into way back.
Peabody asks, so Sherman, what did you learn today? And then you play as Sherman.
The sword fights are pretty crazy.
No, he says like French Revolution is like a bad problem. All those guys getting their heads chopped up, it's not right. And then Peabody's like, and who would think the person that was doing the cake stuff, she could if she only put some of her own food out there for the poor, none of this would actually happen. And then of course Peabody's like, but of course she wouldn't have her own things too. And then Sherman's like, what do you mean? Because you can't eat your cake and eat it too. And then Sherman does this one gag throughout the movie
Sherman
where he's
laughs
like,
a little bit and he's like, I don't get it.
but it's like, but it makes sense. Like a boy wouldn't get that because he's like, it's a pun, but it's a pun for the time. Like it's, I like that. Then they go into the way back. Sherman asks Peabody if they're going to go back. They're going to go into Western, rural. Um, he doesn't say the future, does he? Maybe he does. Maybe he stayed on the future, but then he's like, then people's like, no, Sherman, we're going back home, because
Because the next day was his
well,
first day of school.
well, the idea is that Peabody tells him it's like, because you're gonna go on your own journey alone, and then of course Sherman's like, what do you mean? And then Peabody's like, don't you remember? It's your first day at school. He's like, oh, and then of course Sherman's like, can I drive? Peabody's like, no.
Because
He cannot. He's a boy. I mean, it's really good technology. Like the Wayback is like futuristically enhanced. If Stark made that, oh my god.
and of course you're probably figuring out when Crazy Zombie said Stark, he's
Iron
referring to Iron Man.
Because it's like Iron Man tech in a way, like this. It's camouflage. Like people kind of just created like metal that had the exact same ability that Iron Man can use in some of his armors. But Tony had to take so long to make those. But Peabody was able to do it in seconds.
Like when you think about it,
it makes Tony Stark less smart.
He makes it seem like
It was nothing.
it's like it's insane.
Yeah. Anyway, so Peabody, they go back to New York. He tells Sherman about if you need to do this or use the pencil right, just make sure you're doing it correctly, like an actual father would do, like an actual. He's trying to be an actual father, which I actually like. He's trying to, since he is his adopted Sherman, he has to basically tell him the way of life, like how humans are going to work, how stuff is going to happen, and it's just that's the way it is. And I know how Sherman's like, I know, Mr. Peabody, like it's like the exact same joke later on. But anyways,
But
like he's not trying to like boss him. I wouldn't say boss him. It's like he's just
it's like when
he's like a mother to
he's it's like you kids pretty much know how like when you go to start something and they're telling you about some stuff, they're not saying this to be rude to you, they're saying this because they care about you.
Yeah, like Sherman is he's not overreacting. He's just like exaggerated. Like he's just way too hyperactive. But Peabody is very slow and calm. He's just trying to be happy with his son. That's why he gives him like a dog whistle to basically allow him to like if Sherman had a problem, he could easily whistle for Peabody, which I think that's nice. I liked when he blew into it a couple times. You see Peabody's like,
Because
it's like he doesn't understand that like when he blows in it, like
So,
Peabody like hears it, and then
the
Sherman's
thing
like,
is, so the way that a dog whistle works,
it's only programmed to be listened to like a dog. Like no, don't I don't want no, don't blow into that.
I don't know if this.
Is that a dog whistle?
So
Don't just pretend like use this like use like a like this like something like that. Yeah, and it basically like gets a dog's attention because they have like because dogs have really good hearing, and us humans, I mean our hearing's good, but like it's not as good as a dog.
like a dog's hearing compared to a human's hearing is very strong and
It's
sensitive.
9 times stronger than a human. Anyways,
They say the senses for a dog are a lot stronger than the senses of a human.
yeah. Oh great. I got a metallic pencil in my mouth.
Why did you do that?
trying to demonstrate, not to be an ass.
Anyways,
So Peabody gives him the dog whistle. He blows it a couple times, and I remember when he blows it again, Peabody's like, "It works, Sherman. It's just a whistle that only dogs can hear." He's like, "Oh, okay." And then Sherman's like, then Peabody's like, "Just keep that little trinket with you because no matter how far I am, no matter how bad how desperate you are, I'll always." And then Sherman's like, "Bye, Mr. Peabody." And then Peabody's like, "I'm there for you." I understand the saying. It's like he was trying to be like he was trying to like give him not he wasn't trying to boss him. He was just trying to like as a father like he wants to protect his son. It's like the Goofy movie in a way because Max was growing up and Max like had like a lot of like he's because of Goof like he kept him like being like that same like father figure to him. But he like Max told him in that little river thing is like I'm not your little boy anymore, Dad. I got my own
um,
life.
actually, it's more of from the Lion King.
I still take it from the Goofy movie. I still think it's more Goofy because there's moments in the Goofy movie that I feel like that are like this where Goofy says, "I know that, but I just want to be part of it." And he says to Max, "No matter how big you get and how different you are, you'll always be my son." And that's where I just feel like for Peabody and Sherman. Sherman is different than Peabody, but he does care for him. It's just different. That's all. And I like that. It's just that's the lesson that is most the lesson in this movie is just the idea of if someone that cares for you and they may be different. It's never don't think of them as as like a person to ignore. They are if they're the person that's out there helping you. You just have to understand to accept that. Like accept that no matter how what you are and what actions you do, uh, everyone is different. But I want like he's trying to be in love, like not love like basically like, as a girlfriend boyfriend, but like more like a father and son. But he like Sherman doesn't like he's not getting that because he's a kid. Uh, but he goes to school. He the teacher says, "Who could tell me who was George Washington?" And then he's like, "Moo, me." And
Is
then you play Sherman,
Sherman.
the president of the United States.
Very good. And when George Washington was a little boy, what kind of tree did he cut down?
Ooh, me.
Penny.
A cherry tree. And you play as the Sherman.
Um, what's the word I said?
Apocryphal.
Apocryphal.
No.
What kind of a tree is that? It's not. It's not a tree. It's a word. Apocryphal. It means it's not true.
The story's not true.
It means the story's not true.
George Washington said he cut down didn't say he cut down the cherry tree, but he didn't say he didn't lie. People make those stories all the time. Back in the late 1685, me and my dad actually went across the river. I fell into it. Like I like that moment where he's trying to be smart. He's trying to like show what people is like taught him to be better in school. Not to be like Einstein smart, but just enough to pass some grades. And we get Penny. Would you say Penny's like she starts like she's like Cusco basically. She starts like an ass, and then she gets her crap together.
She.
She's like that. She's just kind of like those girls are like I don't like you. Like Are you okay if I break this?
Um,
Because she did it.
um,
Which one can I break?
I'm just trying to find one that's this one.
Okay. So after Sherman basically like wins like not basically
So
Penny's just very like she's a girl. She doesn't like when boys are better than her. So she's just like that.
he
I,
literally breaks her pencil.
like that. I broke it. Oops.
It's okay. That
Well, remember I was demonstrating.
yeah.
uh,
I'll throw it away.
yeah, it's fine.
Anyways,
But like that's what like, and I think that's a good that's a good like story thing. It's like she's mad, but the way that she does it is to show that she's mad that she breaks something because when you're mad, you can't break something.
you
It's a common thing
it's it's a basic response.
because you don't have anything else to do, so you just break something to get your stress out. Anyways, Sherman is with these two friends. They're talking. He's talking to them. He's basically telling them that we should like go out to my house and we can do some stuff together. And while he's talking to them, he does like this sort of like joke where he's like, "Guess we'll have to split them," because it's an
Because
Adam joke.
anyways,
And then Penny sees him because she's with her own posse, like girl posse, correct? She came through with her own girl posse, and then she's like, "Hey, hey, girls, watch this." She runs over and she's like, "Hey, Sherman, what you got there? Kibbles are bits." And then you,
actually, baby carrots, organic apple juice, and a juice sandwich with mayonnaise,
no, it's omega 3s.
omega 3s.
It's really good in high in fiber, and of course she's like, "So you eat human food
Yeah. Why?
because you're a dog?"
What makes you think that?
No, he says like, "No, I'm not."
No, I'm not.
"Yes, you are. Your dad's a dog, so you're a dog." She's being a bit like a pest.
She's being.
I would. It's not an ass, but like
She's like.
she got really pissy with him, like a girl like tease, it's like a but not like a good tease. Usually,
It's like a.
usually when a girl teases, it's something that's not private, but it's just something about their way of thinking. So if I was smarter than a girl, they would probably think I'm like Einstein. So they'll say, "Oh, hey, it's Mr. Einstein over there." But since Sherman's with Peabody, he's a dog. I understand the idea, but I don't like the idea of like a girl going up to like an actual kid and say kibbles or bits. That's
Like.
just being really rude.
And also.
I really wish that like Sherman would have just said to her, "You know, Penny, I was an orphan before Peabody actually got me. I was a baby. Stop treating me like a dog." Like I would like to see Sherman say that, but he doesn't say that. It just it would be more rational for a person to say that, but he gets teased. Because Penny, this is one part I'm not a big fan of Penny. She is a scumbag, and you know why? She throws his fucking sandwich on the ground.
And then
She's
she's
like,
go
"No,
fetch, go fetch, go fetch your lunch.
go get it." And then he's like, "All right," and he's about to get his like lunch, and he just like swaps the whistle, and he's like, "What's this?" And he's like, "That's mine." He's like, "What is it?" And he starts just blowing into it. You know what'd be really funny? When she's blowing it, it cut to a scene where Peabody's at home, and he's just like, I really wish I didn't give that to him, that whistle.
Oh my gosh!
It would have been funny.
Um
Because it would make sense. It's like Sherman it, it would be so hilarious.
It'd be funny.
I get it for cost time for the movie, but come on, that would have been funny if like he was at home and he just like he goes on the ground and then he's like, oh god, I really wish I didn't give him that.
So, anyways.
But anyway, so Sherman gets teased. The Penny's the scumbag of history because that sandwich was good, and then she just puts it on the ground. You know how long a sandwich takes for a bacteria to get on that sandwich because it's on the ground? Not even a second. So basically, he doesn't have lunch, and it's because of her.
Because she was being a
bitch.
Well,
she's a bitch. Like she's a scumbag. She's doing it because she wants to be better than him. Which is like really.
Which is really
you're gonna assault a kid that is, yeah, he has his dad's a dog.
So what? Yeah, like
what? You like imagine if my dad was a gorilla.
Or my dad was a
polar bear?
I was gonna say psychotic alien.
No, because that
no, that
But the reason why I said gorilla is because someone would say like, oh, you eat bananas or apples, and that's a that's a bad thing. That's a bad person to say that because it's like I don't eat bananas. Nah, yeah, my father's a gorilla, but he doesn't feed me bananas.
You know you're making a Tarzan reference.
Yes, I am, and it's funny. Anyways, Penny basically like is teasing. He's like, "Go get it, Sherman! I got your little whistle." And then she
and then she starts like wrestling him,
choking him, like starts grabbing on his like thing, saying it would have been like the thing is that I think she was trying to do the old like say Johnny or say what is it called
say uncle.
Yeah, say uncle. It's like that say uncle thing.
Which is where like, someone
grabs you on the shoulder like, should I do it to you?
Probably would not be the best idea.
And you shouldn't do it to me because I got a bad neck. If we had grab that.
All right, so.
So, pretend, this is Sherman, and this is what she's doing. Come on, Sherman, say uncle, say it, or I'm a mug and nug your head.
So,
but she's saying like.
But she's saying in a dog way.
Yeah, she's like, come on, Sherman, babe, tell me you're a dog. She's like, let me go.
Not until you beg like a dog.
You know, that's why I feel like Sherman wasn't actually in the wrong to do a thing that like to do that, but you know, Penny kind of asked for that. Like that's one thing for a kid
like,
to not.
It's
do.
like, and so apparently the thing that he ends up doing is biting her.
Yeah, but that's natural for a kid to maybe do because it's self-defense.
Yeah.
Like if a guy was bullying me and he was big and he was getting me on my nerves, I'd probably kick him in the nuts.
If for me, I would probably
pull out his ears.
Actually,
no, pull out his eyelashes.
Actually, I've came up with a good one. So, if someone tried to do it, I would take one of their arms, so it's kind of a wrestling move. So I would grab their arm and then get out of their hold and pull their arm behind them.
Oh man, that would hurt. But
basically, bringing a pressure point to
Yeah, I
it.
know. It's like, uh, but you see, like, he's a scumbag. She throws his sandwich. She teases with the whistle. Even when his friends are trying to back him up, she's like, "Get away from me, Carl."
Which was actually
zip it, Carl.
which was what she first said, and then she says, "Back away, Carl."
Remember when I said it was like cheating, Carl? That was the dude was called Carl.
His name is one of his friend's name is actually named Carl.
From Jimmy Neutron, but he has not seen that. Which we should do a review on that too. Like watch an episode so you actually get into it, maybe just to see what you like. I would be since you're into like movies, we would be great on that because I would be interested in seeing what you think of it because it would give you like a good perspective of what I used to like. Anyways, Peabody gets sent to the principal office because did you
Well,
notice?
Peabody gets called to the principal's office.
Yeah, he got called to the principal office because of Sherman. But did you notice that the principal looks like something out of Incredibles?
He
Doesn't he look like a person that was in the Incredibles like movies? He looks like
looks like the
one of the actual principals from the actual Incredibles like movie. Like there's actually a principal that kind of looks like that I've seen. Um, which I'm wondering if that was assets they use. Weirdly.
um. Anyways,
Peabody basically is trying to explain that because Sherman, because of Peabody, he doesn't understand that Sherman got in trouble. So Sherman's kind of like Peabody's basically doing a bunch of nagging on Sherman, saying like, "Oh, he's a good boy. Here's all his grades. Here's a bunch of his certificates. Here's a bunch of his like diplomas." And of course, like the principal's like, "Mr. Peabody," he's like, "Swahili, Machucho," and then he's like, "Sherman got into a fight today," and he's like, "Oh dear."
which
Dude, I just realized Mr. Peabody is like the Goof movie.
is really
Remember?
it's really weird
Because
when you think about it.
Max does that big stunt. She got sent to the principal's office, and then his dad was called by the principal, and then his dad had to go on a trip to show him how to be a good person. And then Mr. Peabody's the exact same, where he gets basically flaunted to basically he sees the bites he sees the bite mark on Penny, but it looks like that doesn't look like Sherman bite here.
It's like
It looks like someone just like photoshopped it on her. Like and how would Sherman even bite her?
Like
she was literally grabbing on her.
Like
how is he got
how
how are you supposed to bite someone?
like
if
seriously
voice...
like she had her arms like way around her neck, around his neck.
Yeah, like both.
There's like no way
He would be the biter.
There's like she had one. She like almost had him like a sleeper hold.
Yeah, like yeah, and now the main person that is basically kind of the threat of the movie. I wouldn't say she's a villain, because she's not, because villains have an actual like thing that they have. They have a plan. They usually do they kind of succeed the plan, and then they have the outcome at the end. That's usually what a villain does. She's not really a villain, but she's kind of like
Her name's Miss Grunion.
Yeah, but she reminds me of like the dude from Ratatouille.
The chef?
No, the person that was like grading them. The
Oh,
Ego? His name is Ego?
No, that's not right.
No, he's a food critic, remember?
Yes, but his name is
Ivan Ego. I believe. It's because he's the one that because Linguini tells Remy that he needs to focus with stop like trying to impress ego because he says that to him.
All that. Yep, that's not coming back to me. Anyways,
It's like that because ego's not the food critic wasn't a villain. He was just doing his job. If he doesn't do his job, he gets fired. So it's the same with Mrs. Grunion. But the thing about Miss Grunion is that she kind of goes a little too far with the thing. She's a bit too hasty. Like the principal said, well, the boy was the girl was actually bullying him. He's like, quiet, Bernie. Uh, it's normal for kids to tease. It's not normal for boys to bite.
for, for
Kids to bite. Clearly.
which
Okay.
which
Okay.
is
The first song. No, it is not normal for a kid to tease because that's being an ass.
that's being self-ignorant.
Yeah. Who
And also,
does that mean her freaking family is like that? She like teases all of them. That's
and
that's idiotically stupid.
and plus
Who the hell would say that to their kid?
and plus
Hey, son, it's okay to tease. I'll be fine with it.
and plus things
She's
and
not. She doesn't escalate too far, but the way she says it, it's like
she
it's normal for kids to tease. Think before you say
like
stuff. Fuck.
and also
I don't know if
she
people just
needs
said to
she
her
needs
like,
to think about her tone.
yeah, the tone is a bit like harsh. She's like, it's normal. It's normal for kids to tease. It's not normal for kids to bite. I understand that. Like,
Okay,
yeah,
yes,
but
it's
not
not
normal for someone to bite because actually a bite from a human is worse because you think about it, we have really there's bacteria in our teeth. Someone bites you,
and
you
also
actually you can actually die from someone's bite from a human. You think you think animals are bad? Humans are worse.
well, there are some animals that are pretty worse.
I know, but
like a
but
lion.
doctors say that like a human bite is worse because if you get bitten by a human, there's so much bacteria in someone's mouth, you can easily get a bad infection from them, like a bad virus. Like I get it for that reason. Like she's trying to be hypocritical because she's a kid,
But
but teasing, it's not normal for someone to bully. That's not acceptable.
yeah, what she was doing was being a bully.
Not being a bully, but she wasn't being trust. She didn't say the truth. Like she needs to say like, it's not normal for people to bully, but it is not. But it's definitely not normal for someone to bite. But then she's just like, no. She's like, it's normal. It's normal for someone to bully, but it's not normal for someone to bite. That does not make sense.
That is
That's backwards talk right there.
that is.
Bull crap.
Anyways,
Peabody tells, Peabody's like, well, I'm sure there was like some sort of like thing that Sherman wouldn't be able to do this. I mean, and then because of Miss Grunion being this sort of ass, she basically tells
or
Peabody,
real brooch.
say bitch, it's okay.
She's being a real
bitch.
yeah.
Bitch. Anyways, so she basically declares that like if Sherman is not allowed, like basically she basically says to Peabody, because of you are a dog and you've been with Sherman for a long time, he's been starting to act like you because he wouldn't self-aware to buy a kid, and I'm like, first of all, he's intelligent, and second, he's not feral. Where'd you get that? It's like it's like telling someone knowing like imagine if I told your dad that he's like drunk and he's like he's hard at work and hits you a lot and because of that you do bully stuff because your dad's being like telling you stuff. That's being hypocritical because you have no fact.
And also,
Does she have facts on him? I would think so, but like she doesn't say.
Like she's like jumping to a conclusion.
Extremely like it's just like it's exaggerated to like to the mountain. It's
Like
your name's Miss Grunion. That's almost like saying your name is. I just realized Miss Grunion. It's like isn't there isn't there someone named like Miss Rumpelstiltskin? Mrs.
Miss Grunion. It also sounds like her name is
Miss Grunion Nuts.
it's like she's taking groin and then
Oh yeah.
and the
Onion.
onion
So
part.
so it's like
Groin.
groinion.
Yeah.
Groinion. Groinion.
Which is
Because she had a really good ass. Like you see how big her ass is.
she
And a good bright big titties. Anyways,
anyways,
Miss Grunion's a bit of a bitch, and she basically
she
tells
is a complete bitch.
she constantly like
And
okay. So basically, she said because people said like to her, "You must learn, Miss Grunion, that I got a court of law to have Sherman, so I have legal authority to have him." And then she's like, she just does it in his face, saying, "Well, the court could also reject that and take that away from you
and so
permanently." And she does it in the most rude way. She grabs a pencil, sharpens it in front of the principal,
and she
and
said,
then she goes, "I hope I made myself."
"No, she's like, I will be,
Yeah, she said she
I
was
will be,
going down to your house tomorrow.
I'll be coming to your house tomorrow for an investigation.
If you are being a bad father to your son Sherman,
If I found out there's
any
anything that shows you not being a
father figure,
father figure to Sherman, I will have him removed permanently."
I mean,
And then she
she uses the pencil, sharpens it, and then she like.
Do I make myself clear?
No. She first says, "I'll be removing Sherman," and then she does it, and then she does permanently. I hope I made myself clear. And as she's saying that, she fogs Peabody's glasses.
And then Peabody does like something like a windshield wiper, like
And then he's like,
crystal.
You could tell Peabody was angry.
Cause
I understand. I would
blame him. She was being
a bitch.
a complete total bitch. Like she was being a legit
ass.
bitch ass.
Yeah, basically. But Peabody tells Sherman like he's like wondering like how would this happen because he's a good boy, like he's supposed to be a good boy. But he's like, so Sherman says to him, "She called me a dog," and you can really see Peabody reflect that.
Cause
it's
like
not, and of course he doesn't say anything because he knows what it is. It's like the phrase "I'm a dog." It means like I feel less responsible because dogs are less responsible because sometimes if you're training a dog, it takes a while to get them to respond to you.
And also, for those of you who have dogs, it takes a long time for them to be well trained
and like you and stuff. So I understand that with Peabody,
like
he understood that clearly, and you could tell his
eyes. You could tell by the look of his face.
There's no you didn't have to have any voices. You could just see from both their eyes. Did you notice? Sherman wears glasses the same as he does, and he wears a white shirt and pants. But Peabody doesn't wear pants
because he's a dog.
I get that, but why wear? Oh, and why shouldn't he just wear no pants? Because he's not wearing pants. And
But
also,
but
he's not wearing a bow tie either.
but
Sherman's
when
not.
he's but also if you think back towards the beginning, he's like he says a bunch of things that he had invented.
Yeah, the pull-off pants. It reminds me of the scene where in the Batman Lego movie where Robin
He's
is like he's
These
no,
these these feel a little tight.
and he says like rip, and then Bruce says
Batman's like
I can't look at you right
I
now.
can't which
I remember that scene and it's not laugh. I mean, it made me laugh because it's funny.
Which-
It actually makes sense that Legos because
well
they can do
also it's a reference.
that. Yeah, from Mr. Peabody.
No, the classic Robin look.
Oh yeah, because he had undies.
Well,
He wore
Robin
undies.
Robin had
A thong.
had
He wore a thong.
which is kind of funny when you think about it.
I'm showing my sexy legs.
And kids, don't do this at home. Don't.
Blow your burgers at someone.
Don't. Don't. Just don't. Yeah.
Alright, come on.
Anyways.
Like we're going with Sherman, Peabody, they're father and son figures, but they but Peabody just wants to be his dad, and he reflects him after he gets him tucked to bed. We got to see like Sherman look out his glasses for one scene. He looks okay.
Like
Doesn't look iconic.
he's
But he does his eyes are not as big. Is that because when he wears glasses, it just makes his eyes bigger?
it's a thing for glasses.
It's
some
like
glasses.
it's the meme. It's like
some-
you wear glasses, they make your eyes big.
It's a feature.
A feature that would be fun for us to do. These are sunglasses. So watch. Hey, we're cool.
Oh wait, actually, I actually have glasses I wore when I was here for Halloween. Somewhere in my room.
Coming back, Pokemon Master.
Yep.
Oh, I see. That looks like Peabody glasses.
So
That looks like Peabody glasses.
anyways, if you see the way that the glasses do is they make the eyes look bigger.
Yeah, like that's the cartoon trope. But anyways, he tucks him to bed, and then after he shuts the door, he looks at the memories of his son, and the way they did it was really cool. It's like a transition shots with different art styles, and there's a little song playing, just a random song. I think it was not original. I think this was actually they're like an actual pop song that they used in their time, but it's an old song that no one's ever heard. The word It's funny. When I was at Walmart, they played that song all the time. That one song.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, why do they keep playing this? I don't like. I got really sick of it sometimes. I wanted them to play the other one that was good. Ayo, 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 open your eyes and beyond. You know, like that. And you must close your eyes. You like nothing changeable. You know that song?
Yeah.
That is from that movie because they used that in the trailer. Anyways, after that little like
It's
art thing.
Pompeii.
Oh, okay.
That's
Alright, sorry. It's Pompeii. If you guys know, listen to that song. It's from it's from that movie. Anyways, the movie that we're talking to. Peabody, after seeing how he got Sherman, because I like that moments of they kind of went through a bunch of history and stuff. Sherman was it was a little smart. He kind of showed how history should go, like what art should be, what like things are gonna be in our world, and I like that the idea of like Peabody showing him the time before he's a kid. So that means Mr. Peabody must have built the machine to allow him to go in the time so that they can do that stuff as he was a kid, from baby to a toddler to a kid, and now where he is now. Because he was able to like teach him how to ride a bike. Then after that little transition, he just thinks, okay, I know what I have to do. And he basically calls up the Petersons, and they come to the house because Peabody wants to make a basically he wants to make an exception to be good to everyone, and hopefully that will uh, get rid of this biting business. That's what he says. Um, did you notice that he's a really good chef, a really good
he
cook?
and he
He's like not Brian. He's not like Brian from Family Guy. No, he's like if you combine like Remy and uh, Snoopy. It's like Snoopy and Remy mixed together because Snoopy could cook.
or or more like Shaggy.
Yeah, but no. But you know how he literally cut up a melon and it looked like something out of like a bar.
Like like
Well, speaking of bars,
it was crazy. So
I can't believe he even has a bar in the house, and Sherman's like doing like I guess he gives him like root beer because it's for kids.
well, also the thing is it.
Sherman, I'm gonna get close.
Anyways,
Okay, so the Pearsons come. Penny is not happy. I mean, Sherman's not happy either because he's just like, "Hi, Penny. Hi,
because
Sherman." It's like you could
you
tell.
could tell that they're pissed.
Oh yeah, like as soon as they show up, like you see like Penny's like eyes just go like narrow,
Penny's no Penny's eyes were. I think Penny's eyes were like
and
that
she went Mandy. Like
because
she went Grimace really Mandy look.
she went like she went like she had that like dead serious look.
Like look I'm doing right now. So it's like, and the father, I literally said to you, he looks stoned for a moment. He's
He
he's like this.
he like he
He's like, what are you doing? You're her dad. Well, you look stoned. I was like, and then the mother is even
oh
weirder. She's like,
the you wonder what the father. I don't know why he makes me think of the agent from Bolt.
yeah, kind of, yeah,
The
kind
one
of,
who's like, you know what? Let's put a pin in it. Boop, pin in.
yeah. I think it's the same voice actor. It might be because he sounds like the exact same. If you listen to both voices, they're very similar. But I can actually see more of tonight's show with him because he has like that voice.
Jimmy Fallon.
I think it's Jimmy Fallon that's doing that voice. I would be surprised if they got Jimmy Fallon to play it in Peabody.
Actually, it wasn't.
It wasn't. What? Um. Uh, they don't say the names, do they?
Hold on.
No, don't do not. If you use that, your parents will. Just we'll just say like if you guys can tell us in the comments below, then you can say like who's the voice that does the Peterson's dad. Uh, Basically, but he's like very overprotected to Penny, and she just. Do you like him? I mean, he's not too.
He's
bad.
not too snarky. He's not too mad. He's
just kind of like. He's like that over exaggerated dad, but like in a goofy way.
But
it's like.
But the mom was like chill.
Yeah, but she's also was goofy too. She's
but
like,
she was.
Hon, he can talk.
She was.
Wait, does that mean that they've never ever seen him before? So this is like the first time they've seen him.
Well,
because they're like they never noticed that this building was in the city. It's the
which is
weird.
It is weird when you think about it.
Well, anyways, the Petersons come in. Penny goes with Sherman to his room because Peabody tells Sherman to tell Penny his element collection.
Mineral
collection. I suppose element, mineral, pretty much the same. And then as he's in his room, Peabody comes in. He's like, "So how we're going?" And he's like, "Why'd you tell me that she was coming over?" And then of course he's like, "Because I didn't want to worry you." And then he's like, "Just because I didn't want you here. I didn't want to hear that." He's like, "Thank you for your honesty." He's like, "You're welcome." And then of course he's like, "I hate her."
No, she hates me.
Sherman, every great person has had.
I hate her.
Sherman, every great person comes from a great of some personality of love. You just find your thing, and make it work. And then he closes the door. He closes the door first time, and he comes on. He's like, "Make it work." And then opens the end. And he says, "Don't tell her about the way back."
Which Sherman does the.
Well, hang on. We don't like. It's the thing is that, but you think about it, people could have told him beforehand, before like until to surprise, because then Sherman wouldn't have been like that angry, maybe.
Like
it wouldn't it would have been more funnier because he's like,
and
Peabody's like, "Oh, the Pearson's coming," and I'm like, "No!" Like that would be funny.
Like a little pre-warning something.
Yeah. Are you like Penny is not okay. Between the school thing where she's being an ass to him, but then when he's in her room, she's like just bit like not angry, but she's just kind of ignoring and just not wanting to know anything about him because he's about to talk and she says, "Don't even think about it," and it's just like, fuck you. I understand her.
You're being
a bitch.
She's being a legit bitch.
A small bitch. Not as bad as Grunion.
Oh my gosh. Grunion is a bitch on a whole nother level.
Anyways, she basically is just a girl. She got bitten. I understand.
She's being sassy.
Yeah, she's sassy. Just being sassy and stuff. Then
which
after Peabody.
Which is really surprising that they didn't really show her getting bit. So
No, they just cut it away.
It's like how do you even know she was bit?
I know.
And even with the
You're
picture,
going a little bit too loud on that one. My voice is. It's like very, very calm.
Anyways.
Okay, so Peabody shows that he's like a pretty good, talented person. He does piano, and then Mr. Peterson's like, I'm in rock and roll, and then he's like, and he goes like, and then he's like, I'm at Flamingo, and then like he does Flamingo, and then he's like bagpipes,
and then
bagpipes,
and then he
do violin,
and then he starts
drums.
saying a bunch of different instruments, it gets really crazy.
Well, the thing is that it's exaggerated, so that way it's like a cartoon, because you can do it with cartoons. Like, you can make it look like that he had a bunch of clones of him to do all that, and I like that. That's a good animation choice with DreamWorks, because how are you supposed to actually do that for one dog? Just do a bunch, just clone a bunch of times, and it just makes sense because
take a shot of him doing
the one thing I liked about it is that they did it in the first one was piano, then they did it with guitar, then it was
acoustic guitar.
Yeah, acoustic guitar, ukulele, all that stuff, and then he started to do a bunch of them at once, and then you see a bunch of them, which is a good idea just to give you of like Peabody's super smart and he's able to do it. It's basically an exaggerated version of what he can do, so that way the person actually is like, oh my god, he can do anything.
And they were using cartoon logic,
which is actually pretty accurate. Also, did you like when the father's like, he says, you know what, this was a whole complete waste of time. But as he says that, all the clones look at him. You notice that, don't you? Because even knowing that they are physically not there, they do that because it tells that they are listening to him.
And
which
then,
is a good.
That's
a good thing.
When
for
he gets
cartoon
when he starts to stand up, he's like he has a crack in his back.
Yeah, he did break his back. He just kind of
like his back's stiff, got stiffed up.
Yeah, like it got stiffed up. Knowledgeably, pretty much Rousey for anyone. Like if you got a really stiff back, it's gonna be pretty messed up for a while, and you have to sit down and try to get it back together. Basically, he's so old at that point that he needs massages.
He wasn't really.
Well, he's now like he's an adult, and adults have cramps, but not like
an elderly person's
but like
cramp.
It says he like, I'm fine, and then the mother's like, she says like, oh, he gets these like these back cramps all the time, and he's just like, and of course the people's like, Mr. Peterson, I know how to, he's like, no, stay back, baby buddy, don't touch me, and then of course he's like, don't worry, Mr. Peterson, I'm a good chiropractor. And then he just did a bunch of random like stretches and cracks and movement to him, and it just makes him really flexible. And he starts dancing. Like, I don't know if he cured his pain or just did it so well he won't have that much pain as much anymore. But like it looked like he cured his pain,
which is
something a doctor can't do as much as what we think they could do. And that just shows that Peabody's a very, very like not only he's super smart, but he's also able to save a person's life with precision accuracy. It's like the Doctor Strange movie where he like saved like someone's life by actually pulling out the bullet from his brain. I remember like a lot of like moments that does that, where Peabody shows his talent, but not in brain logic, but in like other things like music, repairman, for like doing backs, cooking. It's just everything is just bouncing walls. He can even drive not a car but a scooter.
Yeah, and it has a little sidecar.
Yeah, for Sherman because he has to. It is weird. You think he'd drive a car because he's super intelligent, but he's only able to drive a dat. Where in the Family Guy, Brian can actually drive a car.
That's for those of you who have seen Family Guy.
Which is weird. It's like, how the frick is he even driving that? His
And
paws aren't going on the steering wheel unless he's has his things
like, and we're talking about a dog here.
yeah, a dog that's super intelligent, and I think about it, he's small. Okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense. He would ride something that it would be perfect for him because a car can't work because there are small cars, but most of them have their backside of the
Like
and you need to be at least a bit more able to like ride that with your like paws and stuff. But anyways, after like Peabody gets his back together, Mr. Peterson, and he just starts dancing. Then Sherman talks to Penny. Penny just keeps like not ignoring him, and then Sherman's like, oh god, what was the thing he said? It was like, uh, Elroyd. It was like Elroyd, right? Elroyd said, if you the reason why that no one likes the way you are is because they don't like what
because you don't
like the way they are.
And it's like the reason why you don't.
Like he's trying to be like
He's like
he's not
you
trying
don't
to be like
you.
critical to her.
He's like you don't. Sometimes you don't like other people because there's something that you don't like about yourself.
And she's like, well, how do you know about Elroy? He's like, I just do. And then of course he's like, of course you do. Like you know about everything about the cherry tree.
About George Washington not really cutting down a cherry tree.
But he's like, he did. He didn't. And he's like, how do you know? He's like, I just do. Did you read it out of a book? No. Did you get it on the computer? No. Did your stupid dad tell you? No. He's like, then how do you know? She just starts poking at him, and that's just like, I understand she's that one girl, but come on.
She's getting on his nerves.
And as a kid, as a grown boy, he's not supposed to be treated like that. I know he's trying to like keep it in, but he's just already he's falling the law, saying, and that's when she's like he immediately says George Washington, and he's like George Washington. Yeah, she's like liar, and then of course
And then
that triggers him to
and then
just break and say, all right, we use something called a way back, and that cuts to where they are.
Well,
they're in that.
Well, before it, he has a little. There's a little thing on his glasses that.
It's a flashback thing.
Flashback of Mr. Peabody telling him, don't tell her about the way back.
I like that because they don't have to actually do an actual flashback. It's just basically it's a common thing for some cartoons to do where they have like you see the flash in their eyes and then that's it. And I like that because it's a little bit of like a little thing. Do you think that Penny's still a tease when when Sherman's trying to talk to her? And the only thing that Sherman says is that he says the kind of correct thing that she is, and he's not trying to be insulting to her. He's just trying to.
He's just saying common sense.
Yeah, but then she's just like
But she's taking it a completely different way.
Yeah, like she went too far with that. It's like, and that's why
she took it as an insult.
Yeah, and she went insult the injury. That's what they call it. So like after like Sherman spills the beans, he takes her to the way back, and of course she's like, so where have you guys gone? And he's like, not where, Penny, when? And she's like, oh no, okay, smart guy, when have you when have you gone? And he's like, oh, about 1968. It's 1945. uh, 70, 64, like a bunch of dates, numbers. And
Bunch of different years.
yeah. And of course, she's like, can I use it to go back to the past for an hour and then come back? And she's like, why? That so that way I can come, I can be early, go to be sick and never come to this lazy party. And then of course,
Mr. P.
like,
Sherman says.
Sherman says like he says never go to a past, never go back to a past previously. And she's like, why? Because then there'll be two of you.
Never,
Oh.
It's never. Mr. Peabody told me never go back to the time where you already existed.
She's like, why?
Because there'd be two of you.
Oh, that makes sense. I guess the world isn't ready for that, are they? I liked how after she teases him, and then he shows her the way back. They kind of start to be a little bit like a friendship, weirdly.
Which, yeah, it's really
like,
weird.
It's like not. I don't know if it was because they cut that part. They cut it. Point of like, oh, they're just gonna sneak into the way back place, and Sherman's the one that knows where it is. It's just like common sense is that
like,
she still teases him, but they actually were talking in that one part, and it just makes no sense. Like she's teasing him in the first section, and then next she's like being friendly to him.
Well, she might be pretending to be friendly to him.
Yeah, because after he says to he says to her, Mr. Peabody hasn't told me that I'm not ready to drive it yet. And of course she's like, do you listen to everything your dad says? And he's like, yeah. It's just it's just something that part of me. And then he's like, no, a dog. And then that really like makes him not mad, but just like, oh, fine, and goes to her. But like, not I don't think it was a tease. I just think it was just like a brag. She bragged it too hard, and it was just like, do you have to rub it in like again? Fucking stop calling him a fucking dog. Yeah, he is. He's partly with a dog too because of because he was living with him. Yes. But don't fucking keep calling him a freaking dog because that's rude. It's just fucking rude.
That's just messed up.
I that's the reason why I feel
like
how the frick does he then Sherman get back to the party, but forgot her.
Like
was he like too occupied to say, oh, where you want to go, Penny? And then they go to ancient Egypt, and then they got split up, and then freaking she's like, I can't find her on my own, so I'm gonna get Peabody's help. It's like common sense, dude. Find her before you come back with this. That's why Bishop Peabody's like, show him. It's just common sense, but it's not common sense when you do it the first time. I understand Peabody's anger to him, but you know how father figures trying to give their son a thing of like, you can't do this to anyone because you're trying to be the one person to show them something that you know. It's never okay to tell the truth. It's not all the time, because if you do that, you're gonna get yourself in more trouble.
So there's a time to.
There's a time to tell the truth sometimes, but there's never a time to tell the truth about something like a secret.
And also, which goes over to say, there's a time to lie and there's a time not to lie.
For instance, when people say don't talk about the way back, it's the truth of them being able to time travel, because that's not. And he's not being like, oh, like if you don't tell the truth, you're bigger, you're a liar. It's not. No, he's not saying that. He's trying to be protective. He's trying to tell him because Penny has no idea what time travel is, and if she knew that, then she would be basically going anywhere she wants because she's a girl, and that's why Sherman probably knew that if she did this, they're gonna be separated. But anyway, so Sherman goes with Penny. They go in time. They come back. While they're gone, Peabody makes martinis in a DreamWorks movie.
But he does.
This is an animated movie, and they put alcohol in the movie.
Well,
Why?
Well,
and he drank some of it. Does that mean Sherman drank too? Because he's with him sometimes? I mean, Peabody.
Actually, I have no answer for that.
Because Peabody's his dad, but of course he doesn't know about like he knows about some human anatomy, but he wouldn't know Sherman's anatomy with like alcohol. And you know what? That'd be really funnier if like the reason why he's always the way he is because he drank alcohol sometimes. Because he's like, I'm Sherman, I'm okay, and then he just falls over. The reason he falls over is because he's drunk. It would be funnier because it kind of makes sense.
And it makes sense.
Because he
always falls. From when because like when they were in the time of the French Revolution, he fell.
Yeah, like the first time, and then it's a gag throughout the movie. I appreciate the level of detail to the martinis, but come on, this is a kids' film. You not do that.
Well, that's actually a family film.
Yeah, but like you get it, like I get it for the party, but not for a like he just showed people how to make a martini.
Well, actually, Sherman wasn't in the room when.
Yeah, but he drank it. You saw him drink a bit of it.
Yeah.
Before Sherman's like, "Hey, Peabody," and she's like, "Sherman," and he's like, Peabody, and he's like, "Can I talk to you for a moment?" Then Peabody's like, "Of course." Peabody tells Sherman, "I really hit it off with Penny's parents. I think we can be able to sell this in no time." And of course, Sherman's like, "I wouldn't go far to say about that
yet."
Yet, Peabody's like, "What do you mean?
Wait,
where's Penny?" An ancient Egypt. You used the way back.
And he looks like he's
gonna not strangle him. You're like, I understand his frustrations. I understand. It's like because he literally told him not to do that. But what was he supposed to do? Say, my George Washington was also my dad. Of course, she would never believe that either. But it's like, it's a girl. I understand people's frustrations, but come on, Sherman. Common sense is don't tell her you'll be fine and everything will be fine. But of course, you got to tell her. So now you have to go into time and get her back.
So, but
before that happens, Peabody's just arguing. Doesn't argue with her, but he like just says, "How could you portray me?" And he's like she called me out with the George Washington cut down the cherry tree. So you took her to see George Washington? Yeah, she was into it.
Which is kind of funny when he said the way that he said it.
And of course, Peabody's like,
and the Pearsons are.
Yeah, the Pearsons like, "Hey, Peabody, hey," and then of course they're like, "Where's Penny?" And then of course they one moment is like, she's playing pooping. And then of course they're like,
which one is it?
Which one is it? Is she playing or pooping?
You're like,
and then they're like, "Hey, what's going on here? Yeah, what's going on here?
Penny,
where's our daughter?" And of course, like,
and
Peabody does
this weird hypnosis thing.
He says like, she could be here, she could be there, she could be there, or there, or there, or there, or there, or there, or there, and Then they're in a trance,
and they're like,
then like Peabody says, I learned that from the witch of Achububaba. And then Sherman's like, what? And then he's like, let's go. They'll hold him. Of course, but it's just like, what? How long are they gonna be stunned like that? It doesn't look like they were stunned that long because they do that same thing again, and Sherman wasn't even stunned for a while, for a moment, you know. So I don't know. But anyways, Peabody and them go to ancient Egypt. They find her. She's dressed in like Egyptian clothes. They're wearing Egyptian clothes. I just realized. Sherman's wearing a towel, correct?
yeah.
He had no clothes.
Well, he was partially naked.
Right.
But they had the...
I know the ancient Egypt like things. They were wearing like towels on their heads.
No, they weren't.
What were they?
They were...
It was some sort of like... It was a hat, right? Or like a scarf? What is it?
They weren't wearing anything on their heads.
Yeah, they were. Remember, they were wearing that like weird like fabric on their head that was covering their ears.
Oh, it's pharaoh wear.
Oh, okay.
It's a pharaoh.
So it's like
wear.
a hat, but like that's what they used to wear. Okay. But she's wearing like all these jewelry and she's eating dates.
She's eating like
dates and what? Like she's dipping it into something. Is it honey? Is it blood?
chocolate, I think. I don't know.
So it's dates and chocolate.
It looks like chocolate, but
you know, it could have been shit. It wouldn't be surprised if the Egyptians didn't know how to make chocolate, so they made just really good shit. So she's been eating shit dates.
which
Sounds even more worse.
which, believe me, if I wasn't laughing so hard, I would probably throw up.
But it's weird, like she never threw up in the movie, so probably was, and she just liked it. So does that mean that she likes shit?
And you know what? I do not want no answer to that.
Because, wait, I just realized. Sure, it says pooping, and then we see her eat shit.
Well, actually, I don't know what they were.
I think it was dates, maybe chocolate. I'm guessing it was something like nuts. I think it was nuts. Because she spits it out, and then the guy's like, I got it. They do that one gag twice. It's weird. Were Egyptians like that? They just like, when someone just dropped something, like, they were just like, I got it. It's like, what?
Dude, it's been on the floor.
And you don't want to put your hands on it.
That's just...
Gross.
Just as wrong.
So, Penny dresses her up in a gorgeous wig, and she looks more like Cleopatra, correct?
Yeah.
But she's like, and then I liked how, like, Peabody says the actually good pun. He says, if you think we're going to leave you here, you're certainly in denial, because it's the Nile River.
She's like,
I am Queen Akapatricus, Queen of the Pharaohs. And of course, he's like, fairly you are, but if you think we're going to leave you here, you're silly.
No, it's Flower of the Nile.
Flower of the Nile. And he's like, hardly, as if we're going to leave you here, because you're certainly in denial. Which is really good. That's a good.
Shern's like,
that's a good
starts
pun.
laughing. He's like,
that's a good pun. I like that because
like,
there's the Nile River, and she says Flower Nile, so he just backed on that, saying like, if you think we're gonna leave you there, you're certainly in denial. Because she's trying to say denial, but just says a Nile.
He's saying he's
trying to be a. It's actually a pretty good pun. I like
it's an Egyptian pun.
I dig that. Of course, he grabs her, and then she's like, and then one person's like, unhand her, and of course,
it's
weird. Was King Tut like a kid?
King Tut surprisingly was the youngest person to be king.
They must have had like a deformity, like that one like disease that people like have sometimes, where they're like a little midget and they don't grow. You know what I'm talking about?
He
It's called tolerism. It just makes it because some people have it. It's basically their growth hormones haven't like didn't develop. So
well, if you think about it, from the sort, if you guys ever seen the movie The Sword and the Stone,
you mean
Arthur was a kid when he was crowned king.
Yeah, but that's because he got the sword out.
But still,
it's basically if you were able to lift the sword out of King Arthur out of the ground, you're King Arthur.
No, if
it says whoever lifts the sword of him, you're considered as a king.
Whoever lifts the sword from
of
this
King
stone,
Arthur.
Whoever lifts the sword
of King Arthur's sword,
it's
King Arthur.
No, it's Excalibur, I think.
Which is King Arthur's sword.
Whoever
lifts up Excalibur will be King Arthur.
Will be king of England.
Mm-hmm. And the sword was magic, I believe. The sword, it was not Mjolnir. It was like basically the sword was in the rock, and I believe the idea was if it wasn't how strong you were, it's how like I think it's like the sword chose you to be king. It wasn't like, oh, I'm the strongest person is. I'm gonna rip it off the rock. No, you have to be chosen to.
Yeah, you have to be worthy.
Like Mjolnir from Thor.
But
anyways, we're getting off track.
But anyways,
we see King Tut, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? This douche, pervert, gross. I like how even like Sherman says, well, why would you date him or marry him? And he's like, why not? Because his name rhymes with butt.
Which actually, he's not wrong. The boy's name is King Tut.
Mm-hmm.
And what's a word that rhymes with Tut?
Butt. They had a lot of butt humor in the first song.
A lot of pie humor.
A lot of pie humor. Like, their shit dates. Butt, Tut.
Playing. Pooping.
I can't believe they got away with potty humor that was in a kids film before Captain Underpants came out.
Oh, not to mention the underwear.
Yeah.
With hearts on.
Yes. I love undies. That's funny.
Anyways.
Shh. Okay, I hear something.
Anyways.
The idea is that King Tut is gonna marry her, and she doesn't really know what married means, like to him, because in our world, the way that it works, when you marry someone, you have to be both in line, and you both go to church, and she's wearing a gown, and you have like you're wearing like the you basically have to be like the same, like you both have to be in love with each other. That's the idea. But in Egyptian time, the way it worked is that if you were married to someone, you'd be killed and then take your heart, all your organs out into jars, because then your souls would be basically burned into each other. That was their idea of marriage, which is kind of sick if you think about it.
And also,
that's disgusting.
And also a little dark.
Yeah, they even showed blood in a kids movie.
Which
there was
why?
It is why.
Like why why do that in a movie that kids are watching?
It doesn't make sense. But
because like when I first watched this movie, I want to say I was like either 12 or I think I was 12.
Well,
Well,
understandably, it
I
was
think
like
I was either 12 or 13.
well, you're right.
Anyways,
It's a boggle. Do you know? It's funny. The guy's name is I,
he's like,
and
so
everyone's like,
he was like,
"Wait,
he's like,
who?" I.
he's like,
I, as in
he,
I,
he's
and
like,
the Grand Vizier. He's like,
he's like,
"Oh,"
he's like, kneel before your king, as you wish. He's like,
and then Sherman's like, "Who is that?"
he's
It's
I.
no, you're that was King Tut saying that.
No, no,
No,
no,
remember?
no. Sherman said, who is that?
No.
Mr. Peter is like, he is I.
No. Remember how I went like King Tut says to the says a penny, unhand her, and then after he comes over, he says, "Are these barbarians bothering you?" And of course,
She's like,
she's like, "Yes, they are. Bow to for me, barbarians." And people's like, "As you wish." And then Sherman's like, "Who's that?" That is Sauron Khan the Third, almost king of the Second, also known as King Tut. And then of course Sherman's like, "King Tut's your boyfriend?
well, Penny's like, my boyfriend.
King Tut's your boyfriend? Gee, would you like to be cover them in ants and then scatter them with honey and roast them?" And then of course she's like, "You would do that for me? Anything, my good fellow Blossom. Think of it as
Does
a
it blossom?
wedding gift." And of course, Sherman's like, "You can't marry this guy." Of course, she's like, what do you mean?"
Well,
Because his name rhymes with butt. So?
and Mr. Peter was like, don't you know?
Like, no, he says, like, are you sure about this? Because, King Tut, dies young. He's like, "Oh, yeah, I got this already planned out." And, of course, then we see and then, of course, Sherman's like, "Who's he?" "He
He's
is
I.
I." And he's like, "He is who?"
He's you. I am I.
The ground concierge, the marriage person. And, of
That's his
course,
name.
and Sherman's like, "Oh." And, of course, Sherman, Peabody's like, "Oh, Pistier, could you please tell the great prince of what it means to marry the king?" He's like, "Of course. It means that she'll be um, in bond in his own dignity as a sacrificial embodiment to the of the embodiment." And then of course
Penny's like,
in English.
in English?
And of course, Quintana's like, what he means by is that when we get married, he'll will be will he
He's like,
says
when
like
I die,
when I die, they'll stuff your organs into
they'll kill you.
both of us,
They'll
and
kill
then
you
stuff
too.
our organs into jars and then push them. She's a kid.
And she's like,
What the hell?
she's like, actually, second thought, I'm gonna go with them.
And of course, there's no turning back now. I did you like I? It was like not a villain, but like it just see he had like that villain like flair, and he looked like one.
He looks like a legit villain.
He could, you know, what reminded me? He reminded me of Jafar.
As a matter of fact, he did.
Cause he had the like the mustache, the weird goatee like chin, and he was like really like he had the eyes, and he was just like he was very like wise as his voice, because Jafar has a very wise voice, like when he talks. Um, that's another we should review. Aladdin. That one would be a good one too, because I haven't seen Aladdin in a while.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they take Penny, and then of course Sherman's like, "Don't worry, Penny, we'll save you." And then they get thrown into I believe it's the Sphinx. They throw into the Sphinx,
Yeah.
and then Sherman's like, wait, you can't just. And then like the clothes, and then they're like, and then Sherman's like, leave us here, and then like Sherman's like, Mr. Peabody, yes, Sherman, can I hold your hand? And he's like, of course, Sherman. And then like Sherman's like, gee, Peabody, your hand's very cold.
He's like,
And then he's like, and then he lights a I don't know where he got it.
torch?
How did he get a torch? It's super dark. Is he? Wait, is Peabody able to see in the dark? Does he have like stitch vision?
Well, he's intelligent.
I know, but like a dog, you know how a dog can only see in the dark.
No, actually, they can.
So they have the ability.
They have very good eyesight.
I mean, we do too. I mean, if you.
But remember when I said dog senses are much stronger than humans?
Yeah.
So which means their eyesight is it's like
pretty good.
So
okay,
people.
I guess he just saw the torch and he just lit it, and then as he shows it to
like,
Sherman, and then he's
like,
like,
Sherman,
and he looks down, he's like,
that's not my hand, Sherman. That's not my hand.
And then he lights it, and then Sherman looks down, he's like,
ah! And then the arm falls up, and he's like,
and he does the Shaggy and Scooby thing, where he jumps on the Peabody.
And Mr. Peabody does another pun.
Like,
well, that's very
disarming.
Well, that's disarming, cause the mummy got literally had his arm just removed.
Mummy's basically a zombie, but made of bandages.
It's a
corpse in bandages. Basically, it is. It's a zombie bandages thing. It's basically the Egyptian version for a corpse.
Anyways,
basically, they Peabody says, "Now we just gotta find a way out of here so we can stop Penny.
We can stop this wedding."
Yeah, and of course, like Sherman's like says, like he says to Peabody, "Well, if you ask me, I think Penny should be with that dude, King Tut." And then of course Peabody's like,
for a second, I think
you are actually jealous. And of course, Sherman's like, jealous? Well, what? About King Tut's affection over Penny. And of course, Sherman's like, do you think I really like Penny? Mm-hmm. It's not like I want to date her or go out with her or brush her really breezy hair.
Wash her.
It was her breezy hair. Because he's like,
and it's like,
breezy hair. And of course, like,
Miss Bear was like,
well, I wouldn't. Like, And then he's like, ah. And then he presses it, and then it turns, and then it goes back. And then he's like, come on, Sherman.
And
then he says, whoa, Sherman.
Whoa.
Don't step any close, Sherman. It's a booby trap. And of course, Sherman says,
he's Miss.
Of course.
What's so funny?
You said booby. You know, that's actually funny. Why do people still say that?
I don't know.
And why is it called a booby trap?
Because you're not like stepping on someone's boobs.
I get, but in the pirate time, was it like a female boobs fell in a trap and they're like, it's a booby trap. Like boobs fell on a trap and they're like,
if any of you guys have seen this movie, Pitch Perfect 2, Family says, this place is literally covered with booby traps and boobs should never be trapped.
Accelerated by tenfold. I like how Peabody's like, he doesn't say anything, but he just shakes his head. He's like, no, we do not talk like that. It would be more funny if he said, bitch. And then was like,
anyways,
that is not allowed. You should not say that.
Anyways.
That's funny because I have a program that allows me to do like chats, and I actually let Sherman say that, and people is like, "Whoa, Sherman, do not say that. I know she is that way because Shadow brought them because I was doing a little like thing of Shadow like they went to their world. He brought them to their world, and Sherman met Rouge, and then of course Sherman's like, she is one sexy bitch. And Peabody's like, Sherman, I know that is, we do not say that word. But I understand, yes, he's very exaggerate.
And hey, wait, we should have that for a roleplay. Anyways.
Okay, anyways. So, Mr. Peabody and Sherman, Peabody does the path correct the first time, and then he asks Sherman to do it again in his way. But of course, since he's dumb, he does it the wrong way, and
he corrects himself at the very end.
Yeah.
It's like,
oh dear.
Oh dear.
It's a good guy because he's smart and he's dumb, but they're doing it as like he's a kid, but he's a
and
dog.
also it showed a bunch of pictures.
Yeah, of how the ancient hieroglyphics work as each one, because people actually knows hieroglyphics really well too, because he's like, it seems our only way out is we have to escape the boats that bring us to Ra, which is hell. Did you know that? That's what Ra means. It means hell.
Which
is weird because the Egyptians basically depicted hell as.
Makes me wonder, what if the book that he was reading was about ancient Egypt?
Maybe. I mean,
Sherman
has a lot of books in his room.
No, Peabody, when he was a puppy.
Yeah, but he also could have been just also looked it up on the internet. Like, he was on the computer a lot.
But when you think about it, the book that he was looking at,
yeah,
I think even actually if you were to look really closely, it might have been showing hieroglyphics on the pages.
Yeah, probably.
Anyways,
the idea is that he's just smart and he is able to tell them that we have to find the boats of Ra to escape. And the cave collapses because CERN does it wrong, and they have to get to the boats before they get basically smothered. And Peabody says we have to take the boats of Ra out of here. One takes us out, while the other will pull us to an unplanning of doom. And he's like, what? And he's like, and then Sherman, of course, Peabody's like, get into a boat, Sherman, and
Sherman's
like, which boat, Sherman? Which boat, Peabody?
He's like, that one.
He points to the left one. Did you notice that he points to the left one?
Yeah. And Sherman goes to the left one.
It's supposed to be on the right one. Why did he say left? He should have said right.
Which begs to the question: is he really that intelligent?
He probably just misstepped. You know, like some people that are like super smart, they kind of like misstep like one boat to the other because you are not physically able to know which one actually is.
Plus, both boats are identical.
Yeah, that's actually called the Simon theory. The idea is that if you're let's say I took a bunch of, let's say I took a lot of my flesh off me, and then I would still be myself. But then if I made another version of a skeleton and I put all that on there, would I be myself or would that be me?
I think we should more do this a Sparrow reference.
Yeah, it's more like that. But you see what I'm saying? Like it's that's what it's called. It's called the
anyways.
That's the theory is what it's called. So anyways, Sherman goes on the left boat and Peabody goes on the right. Did you notice he actually started to act like a dog, where he's like, he was on his fours. You noticed it, didn't you?
Yeah.
I know that because he's a dog, but I didn't think he was gonna do that because I was thinking he was gonna just be a walking or running. No, he ran like a dog, which is that's actually clever and cute. Goes on the boat and he's like, Sherman, where are you? He's like,
Yes,
Mr. Peabody, you're on the wrong side. He's like, what are you doing on over there? He's like, you told me this was the right one. And then he grabs a rope, swings, grabs Sherman, brings him to the boat, and then while the boat smashes into the wall, they fly up.
and it goes out of the Sphinx's
Ass. It's another ass. It's another poop joke. Poop dates.
Wait.
Pooping. King butt.
If you guys have ever seen the movie Thor Ragnarok,
Right. Like,
we're going. There's a part where Thor says, "We're going in through the big one," and Bruce is like, "You mean the devil's anus?"
it's like, no. No.
Now, which anus is a word for butthole.
I know. But, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Peabody, Sherman says, pooping, Penny's eating shit dates. Then Sherman says, he runs with butt with tut. And now we have a butt joke where they fly out of the ass of an ancient pharaoh's, like thing. And it actually looks like it
also,
pooped
not
out.
to mention the art pattern underwear.
Yes, the undies.
I can't stop
I keep.
thinking about that.
I think the whole reason why I have to roll it because the pun is that he loves his underpants. Anyways, they get shot out the ass. They fall into the desert, which I'm surprised that they're not hot, like super hot, because it's supposed to be like.
Well, because
how hot is it supposed to be in Egypt?
hold on.
No. Remember, we can't do it.
No, I'm doing it. Alexa, how hot is the Sahara Desert?
The average high temperature in the Sahara Desert is 102.2 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh my God, they could have been cooking.
In the Sahara was 116.6 degrees Fahrenheit.
Jeez. They'd be cooking out there. Like eggs.
So,
But
Sahara-
it's a cartoon, but
the-
like, I mean, you know, like.
oh, and they were also wearing sandals.
Yeah, but like, they fell in sand.
I'm surprised that
His skirt didn't fall off.
Sherman didn't swallow any of the sand.
Well, no,
Oh, wait!
he was,
Actually,
he was buried in the sand.
no, wait. If you look on the back,
I know. I was going to say that when we were about to do more of it. I looked. I was like, and I was going to say, ass joke again, but this time it actually looks like they're shitting out of the Sphinx's ass, and then Kronk's like, yeah. Also, that underdog.
wait, what the
See,
what the heck?
and I showed you the first time, and you were like, you missed that. I literally said,
Like-
I was like, hey, look at that It looks familiar, and you almost got it, but then you're like, eh. And I was like, and now I have to tell you, it's the U because it has the white and the red. It looks like what they used for underdog for the movie.
All right. Anyways,
Anyway, oof. Yeah, okay. So they get out of there, butt first out, and then Peabody's like, Sherman, you okay? And he's like, I'm okay. And then, of course, they cut to the wedding. They're about to do the blood oath. And then, because Penny is like she's being forced to do it, it's a long sword. Like, oh my God, did you see how big that dagger was?
it's like
Holy shit.
it's like
Twisted.
it's twisted, and Lynx is like
I don't think it was like, it's really odd. They
it's like. Mind if I use this real quick?
What? Oh, the tablet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
The sword was like almost like the length of this,
Yeah, but it was skinnier.
but it was skinnier and it it's it's just crazy.
Yeah, it's like this, just absolutely crazy. But anyways, they're about to like stab her, and you can tell that she is trying not to be stabbed. But then, but before she's about to get stabbed by that knife, the big giant statue goes, "Wait!" And they're like, "Oh, it's King Anubis, the god of dead." Does that mean Anubis is a devil? Because they mention hell.
Wait, would that also mean that Nus is the Egyptian is ancient Egypt's version of Hades?
Yeah, because it makes sense. Because if you look at Anubis, he's like a giant cat thing, but had teeth and he was black. But
But there
Ra,
was the fire.
yeah, but usually it's demons. Demon thing is that that fire comes from them, because hell is fire. And they say that Anubis was a god that had fire that he shot out of his mouth, and he would burn people from the stakes because of his ability. And they worshipped him because they used the mummies as like a trophy. So if someone died, they would give it to Anubis, and then he wouldn't attack their village. That's why they had a lot of mummies in their temples. Why do you think they built like statues of him? Because they didn't want to be creamed. No wonder the marriage is like part of a sacrificial thing. It's like King Anubis is like watching them as being the perfect, saying, "Yeah, get them. I'm gonna get him. He's gonna try to cut their heart out of them. Yeah."
Which which that just sounds disgusting.
Actually, did you know this? No, Anubis was disgusting. He ate his son when he was born.
When his son was born, he ate his son.
Yes, so that he could be his son. Basically, the way it works is that the Anubis would, if a newborn came to his side, he would eat his eyes first, and then take his tongue and then eat it next, and then he would
Oh
take
God,
his
that's disgusting.
take his intestines, wrap it around the heart, and then eat that last,
Like
like a soupy meatball.
or like a bacon wrapped sirloin.
Yes.
Oh God, that's disgusting. Anyways,
That's why they received him as a devil, because he basically did torture stuff like that. Anyways, Anubis starts firing his fire, and it's actually Peabody and Sherman. They're up there, and Sherman's doing the old like flapping the towel and making the smoke and the fire out, and then basically Peabody is drinking alcohol. I don't know how he got alcohol.
he's just
No, he's putting it in his mouth and he's spitting it as he's doing it, and as he does it, explodes with fire.
it's
Because alcohol is has like a
it's I think it's
alcohol, because I've seen cartoons do it.
I don't think it was like rum.
Rum, alcohol. It's basically if done right in the right conditions, it can become fire. That's why they say don't put rum in the house in a fire, because it can actually make it worse. Anyway, so he starts doing that. He has like this. He created like a microphone out of wood.
It's like a megaphone.
Is that because they're on a big statue and they're inside the mouth?
Yeah.
That the microphone
And
the
it also
megaphone's able to amplify his sound waves.
and also and I don't know how, but
How the heck did they get up there without them seeing them?
and also
Would they?
how is he able to with the even with the wood? How it's they respond to him like they were hearing the actual voice of the god.
But they can't. It'd be funny if the penny was like, Peabody! And they're like, who?
Which, oh my gosh.
It'd be like, oh no, child, I am not Peabody, I am Anubis.
Which,
It would be fucking.
which, okay. Which, okay. Now I just realized this.
What?
The whole movie is a pipe.
You mean a pun?
Potty pun movie.
Yeah,
because of Mr. Peabody's name is Mr. Peabody.
Oh, so it's like Peapotty.
Gosh.
Peapotty.
Papa.
Oh my god. Okay. So they're
Anyways.
trying to get the attentions. I remember one set line. It's like, why did I move to Egypt? There's always dead and flames and fire all the time. It's a Gotham joke. Where one person's like, why did I move to Gotham? I'm moving back to Metropolis. So anyways, they're like, why, Nubis, why? Thanks, plagues. If this wedding is to succeed, I will release a amount of plagues to this world. It's weird because if you've seen
with the plagues.
Yeah, if you've seen the Prince of Egypt, Moses is the one that gives plagues, not freaking Anubis. Remember?
And
he kills a bunch of the born babies in a DreamWorks film.
Prince of Egypt.
Do you remember Prince of Egypt?
They did a live action one.
No, they didn't. They did an animated one. Remember?
There's also Prince of
but
live action Prince of Egypt.
Yeah, but the animated one's actually a bit better. It actually has it more mentions how he was Egyptian once, and then he was then flown to shore to be with a different no. His original parents were Christian, but then they flown his baby away, and then he actually went to the gods, the Egyptian pharaohs, and he became a pharaoh. And then after he killed one of the dudes from a work thing, he ran away. And then after he ran away, he became more Christian to the people. He basically became Jesus to them. And then he actually got to talk to God, to Jesus, which is even weirder.
We're getting off topic.
Yes. Bear the bottom butt puns. Okay. Anyways, basically, they succeed-ish to get Penny away out of there, but then freaking Sherman guys, one of the coals hits him, and he's like, "Ow, ah!" And then they're like, "Anubis, you sound unwell," and he's like, "No, I'm actually fine.
Actually, I've been feeling
a bit underwhelmed, but I'm doing just fine." And I just like the part where after Sherman gets his toes fine, the statue cracks and they both fall down and basically are the first thing that you see is Peabody's face, and then the others are like, "Okay, come on, Penny and Sherman, let's go." And then they use the jaw of Anubis to fly down the stairs. They're about to, of course, King Tut's like, "My bride!" And the guy's like, "Stop them, you fools!" And then,
my runaway bride!
"Stop them, you fools!" And then there's a bunch of them are gonna try to stop that big thing, but they were like, "Oh crap!" So they all get out of the way. And as it hits the I think the second step, all of them both Peabody, Sherman, and Penny go flying towards a giant, it was like a caravan with what? Onions? Or radishes?
I think it was onions.
No, I think it was radishes because they were purple.
Some onions are purple.
Yeah, but radishes have that round, bulbous look. Onions are round, but they don't have that fuzzy, like, green thing to them. Radishes do, and I saw a green thing on them.
Anyways.
So basically, they basically are escaping. They're being chased. Peabody sees the little thing. They'll get him up to the next tower. Peabody says, "Penny, Sherman, climb aboard!" And then he jumps on one of the on the side, allows one of the spears hit the rope, cut it, like tie along.
From Kung Fu Panda?
Yes. And then they fly up towards the top, and then of course I's like, "They're getting away!" And then they go into the way back, and then then of course the lightning thinks that it's like God, the god of thunder came, and they disappeared. And then I like the part where he's like, "Yeah," and then the guy's like, "I got it." See, pun, 2 puns. Penny throws shit dates at the ground. He's like, "I got it," and then I throws the actual dagger down, and the guy's like, "Okay, I got it." Dude, it wasn't even one. There was no blood on it, and two, you didn't have to do that. It's just for reactions. Anyways, they're being
Well, again, it's common sense.
yeah, common sense, but common sense like what? Anyways, they're all happy, and then of course, Sherman's like, "So where are we going now?" "We're going back home, so that way we can get back to the party." And of course, Penny's like, "We don't have to mention the old like King Tut wedding thing about this, right?" And Penny, and of course, Peabody's like, "Not all, Penny. In fact, King Tut actually is the only one that dies young. But you can always say I'm an old geezer because there's the map says Giza."
And he's like,
And they're like, "What?"
and then all of a sudden,
And then all of a sudden the wayback starts to act weird. It says it starts to do an alarm, and then it says wayback power entry low, need recharge immediately. And of course Sharon's like, "What's the matter, Mr. Peabody? All this around has caused the wayback to lose its power. We're gonna have to make an emergency stop. Luck has had it, we have just enough power to get to the Renaissance."
which is where
They meet Leo da Vinci. And the first thing we get to see is the painting of Mona Lisa.
actually,
The Mona Lisa.
no,
Remember?
they hear Mona Lisa's voice.
Yeah, but
And
because
Penny's
Penny
like, Mona
Lisa, and then Sherman, I know people's like, no. I liked how they looked. They looked kind of cute in like French gowns and stuff.
Yeah.
And then we see Leo da Vinci. And the story is the person that was the Mona Lisa, she never smiled. Nothing made her laugh. The story is that she never ever smiled because her family treated that as like a curse. So for a long time, she would never smile at anything. Nothing would make her laugh. Nothing would make her like smile. So Leo da Vinci had it. He did something one day and it made her smile. And then after she smiled, he decided to paint that smile and then they basically put it up on display. And a lot of people said she has the best smile ever. And then of course Leo da Vinci like made a lot of money after that.
Anyways,
So basically, Leo da Vinci can't get Mona Lisa to smile. So Peabody's like, and like, and then of course Leo da Vinci's like, "Oh, what a wonderful surprise, Peabody! I'm a little mistaken that you came by at a very bad time, but good to see you. What do you want? And of course, Peabody's like, we're a bit of a bit of like a was it like he said like a bit of a delay or a bit like a oh yeah it was like we're a bit off like of a or a bit late of some place and we need a jump start for the way back and we and who would and who actually help would be Leo da Vinci.
Leonardo da Vinci.
Leo da Vinci, the greatest inventor of all time. And of course, he's like, Peabody, I would love to help you, but you came at a bad time. I'm stuck with this hypocrite.
Well, why don't you get her to smile?
Yeah, no. He's like, Peabody's like, what's the problem? Oh, what's the problem? I can't get her to smile. And of course, she's like, okay, I'll smile.
No, that is a fake smile. I want the real smile.
Then you must say something funny.
I paint the pictures.
No, I got it. I paint the pictures. I do the inventions. I don't tell the jokes. Alright, I can do better. Like, I paint the paintings.
Let me try. I paint the paintings. I create the inventions. I do not tell the jokes.
I understand, but if you actually knew this, he was good at jokes. Leo da Vinci, that's how he actually got her to laugh. He just made a pun, and it made her. That's how it made her smile. That's the story.
But in the movie, it's really
it's different because because it's Peabody and not Leo da Vinci. But basically, Leo da Vinci he's of course Peabody's like, oh, I think I have a solution. As a common knowledge that I know nothing about laughter, that is the great thing is the common planking. So he does the planking. If you know what that is, do it. Try doing it somewhere. You're gonna have to like put like pillows, or like try to do it like.
How are we gonna do it with the?
Oh, just grab a pillow and you just lay on that.
But we're gonna have to have the camera.
I know. I'm just gonna turn it slightly. There we go.
Such in the way of this. Anybody move? He wags his tail.
Yeah. He wags his tail. And, like, of course, he's like, the map was so right. And then he bumps out his head on one of the paintings. And then, of course, Sherman's like, Mr. Peabody. Peabody's like, no, Sherman. And then he hits painting, and then his head is in the painting. And you notice? The painting had boobs. So Peabody had boobs. Which made her laugh. And that's why after she did the smile, Leo da Vinci was able to do the painting. That was for history. I like how Sherman actually helped because even though he was clumsy, it was the only way to actually get them to get what they are. So his clumsiness actually helps with history. Because if you think about it, all history is people doing stupid things to create stuff. The idea of the Leaning Tower of Pisa was just some person that forgot to do the right amount of math, and the reason why it was leaning is because he made one side of the thing less than the other side. That's why it leaned a little bit.
My dad told me that it was the way that the building was shifted.
Yeah, that's what I meant. There was one beam that was too small. But he liked it because he's like, he tried to do a tower, but it leaned a bit. I was like, oh. And I was like, oh. Well, there you go. Everything that we have in our world is always been a mistake. It's how we live. Our our entire existence from history are just mistakes that happen in our world. A lot of mistakes. So I liked how they kind of binged that with Sherman. Sherman's like they're working on an invention that's supposed to like make a bunch of trionic force to create enough energy for the Wayback to use, so that way they can get back home. Um, and as they're working on it, one of the little things that's on the thing falls off, and Peabody tells Sherman to get the hammer for Leo da Vinci. He's like, okay, and then as it falls, he's just like, hmm. And then he's like smacks in, and it Peabody's like, boom. And then of course, every time.
Wait.
Dylan!
Yes, Mr. Peabody.
The hammer.
Okay.
Leo da Vinci. And of course, he like
Okay.
he hits it again. And he's
It's
like,
okay. He's like, okay, like.
it just
He's like,
I get it.
he's like,
I get
here,
the
Mr.
point.
Hey, here you go, Mr. Tucci. You need any help?
No. That's quite enough. Of course, Penny. I think Penny was like looking at what was Sherman doing, and it just like I understand that Sherman was trying to help, but I don't think he noticed what he was doing.
was kind of a little painful.
I know, a bit painful and just like okay, you could tell like he wasn't having it.
Like he was.
Also, have you ever heard people yell that like holy crap? He was like Sherman.
Sherman!
Yeah, like that. It's like
Yes,
what?
Mr. Peabody? The hammer to Mr. Da Vinci? Okay.
Just like what?
I don't know how much of a headache Mr. Peabody was having, probably.
Yeah, probably was having.
Anyways.
Yeah. Penny tells Sherman to hang with him and
Hang with her.
yeah, hang with her. And of course, Peabody's like, "Where are you going, Sherman?" And of course,
Exploring.
just exploring. And he's like, "Well, we need your help." And of course, no, he says, "No, no, we don't." And then he's like, "Let him go, Peabody. He's a kid. Let him have his fun." He's like, and Sherman's like, "Thanks, Mr. Peabody." I understand that sort of like that thing where Peabody's overprotected that in that moment where he doesn't want Sherman to do something that could upset time. He's afraid of that. The idea of if Sherman does something in this time period and they're there, it could upset the balance of time in their world. And that's actually a good knowledge sense. It's like you're supposed to keep things off control without needing to do any more in control. I understand the idea of like of a kid wanting to do his own thing, but if it's about time travel, you have to be really, really careful. One simple mistake, and you could make a bad like future. You've seen the Sky Arcane episode where they break something, they basically take crash, and then they make an alternate timeline.
You just you can't mess with
Time,
time.
because time is it's a flow. It flows like a big window. I understand his concerns, but Leo da Vinci told him just let him have his fun. But it is two peas in a pod. But you understand Peabody's thing, but you understand his thing with Sherman because Sherman is just a kid, doesn't know about stuff, and he wants to explore. He's a kid, and that's what a kid does. They explore, even if it means they have to be self-consciously not painstakingly like used over and over again. But they're able to figure out each other. But anyways, Penny takes Sherman to the Leo da Vinci's like workshop, and Penny looks at like old inventions, like a guitar, or a little like thing to blow into, or like then she's like, well, what? How does this stuff work? Why does this work? And of course, Sharon's like, oh, okay. This thing like travels across this path and it gets flung that way. And then you use the things over here for like controls. And of course, she's like, well, how do you make it go? And of course, he's like, oh, you just press that lever. And she's like, this one? And then he's like, oh boy. Yeah!
Which,
How do you not see that coming, Sherman?
Sherman, like
Common
Sherman,
sense again.
like it's curiosity.
I get it's curiosity, but come on, Sherman. Make common sense before you act.
Like, think before. It's like
It
the
would be more
phrase,
funnier.
think before you speak.
You know what would be funnier? If she did that and then he just got out of the way. He just jumped out of the way. And she went fly. I know it sounds more bad, but you think about it, she would be able to control that thing fine.
Like,
I get it for the moment of them to be in love, but the way they do it is kind of like she does it on purpose, and then he's like forced into it. If I would, I'm not a big fan of heights. I would hate that.
I would actually. I'm actually not afraid of heights, so I would actually.
Of course you would, because
Be fine.
Yeah, but the thing is about everyone is afraid of something because heights are high up, and usually you're on the ground all the time. It's natural to have afraid of heights because you are naturally wanting to stay on grounds because if you look on the ground, if you look on the bottom of something, it's super far.
The thing is, actually, I'm not afraid of anything.
Okay. There's a giant glass bridge in Japan, and it's basically made of glass. You can walk on it, and it looks like it's cracking when you're walking on it. And it's also suspended 3,000 feet in the air over cliffs.
Still,
And it's outside.
I'm not afraid of anything.
Okay. I'm just saying that,
Anyways,
basically, Sherman is tagged along with Penny. Penny does the thing. She accidentally, like, she purposely does the thing on the plane, which is still a dick move on that point. And then she potentially tells him, "You're gonna have to fly us," and he's like, "I don't want to fly. Seriously, I don't know how." And of course, they do a How to Train Your Dragon scene in a Peabody and Sherman movie. Because if you look at the thing, it looks like Toothless. And they're literally falling. You remember the scene where freaking Hiccup and Toothless are falling?
yeah.
And he had to go on Toothless's back so that he's able to fly him. Basically just looked at the little script and then he was able to actually do the moves perfectly. And then Sherman did the exact same, where he pulled up and then actually did the actual...
But then there's also the part of the water.
Yeah. And that's like the same with Asteroid and Hiccup.
Actually, that thing has been used in many different
like
movies.
Someone's like just using their hand on the water. They do that in Wall-E. They do that in How to Train Your Dragon.
They did it in the TMNT movie.
Yeah.
They've done it in a lot of different movies.
Aladdin, where Jensen like touches her.
Touches the
cloud.
Clouds.
Yeah. It's been done a lot. I get it. It's a running thing, but come on. I wanted something different. Not just that. It's like it'd be funny if she just splashed in his face.
She actually did.
No, she just did this and just.
She did this and then she just like.
No, it wasn't like a yank. It was just like she just pulled it off because the thing went up as she did. Anyways, she and him are having fun. I was thinking she was gonna kiss him
For some, I thought so as well.
because they were actually getting to the love of a boy and girl. Because
And
Sherman was
and
actually
also
getting was
they're
actually
in France,
yeah.
which is
No, it's not France. It's Italy. Is
no,
it?
it's France.
Oh, it is.
Because Paris is the city of love.
Oh right.
And Paris
But
is in France.
the tower was never. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, as they're flying, Da Vinci is talking to Peabody because Peabody tells him, isn't it nice to have a scientific and ever equator? Why are kids so uh, mis misleading? And of course, Da Vinci's like, it's because they're not machines, Peabody. Uh, they're humans.
Believe me,
I've made a human once. It sure was creepy.
which which it went to a flash scene.
No, it didn't go to the flashing because Sherman goes through the town and then of course one of them's like, it's Da Vinci's flying machine again. Hi, Jesus. But at least it's not as good as at least it's not as bad as that weird creepy human thing he made. That was so creepy. And then it's
Shopping like ah!
so the way it is, it's a fucking
It's
doll's head.
It's like a it's a it's almost like a doll, but it's on wheels.
No,
And it says
it's a fucking doll's head with doll arms on a wheel that's able to work.
and it talks.
It says mama, mama.
No, it says
Yeah, it says mama.
it says
It says mama. I actually heard it says mama.
pop. No, it said papa.
Oh, it says papa?
Yeah, it
Oh,
said
okay.
papa.
I thought it said mama. Alright, well, okay.
It said papa.
So,
Papa. Papa.
okay. Okay, so anyways, as they're flying towards where Peabody and Lady Da Vinci are, Lady Da Vinci's like, "Hey, Peabody, it's my flying machine."
My flying machine.
And then Peabody's like, Sherman, what are you doing up there? And of course, like Sherman's like, I'm flying. And then like people like, but you don't know how to fly. I don't. No. And then
You never.
and I, Peabody, I had to ask you one question. Slap. Let him try. Don't try to insult him.
Don't. Because what ends up happening?
They crash
They crash.
because he lost his courage. That's all.
Because
Peabody had to say that. He's like, you can't fly. He's like, no.
he's like, I can't. He's like, no,
No.
and you never have.
No. He says no. Not you never have. He just says
No.
And then of course like ah. And of course people are like lean, Sherman, lean, turn left. And then like he does, and then she slams into a tree. It's just that.
And then there's a
Peabody-
bunch of doves. And there's a few doves that fly up.
Yeah. Lady Da Vinci's like, you've made my flying machine work, Sherman. You are a grand vizier. Oh, Miss Perry, you should be very proud of him. And then people is like, he has a very stern look to him. And he says, proud is a word I would not, like, concur. And of course he's like, Lady Da Vinci, would you mind to actually start up the machine? And I understand Peabody's a bit of a okay. I understand
He's
one
being
moment. No, he's not. He's not being overtaken. He's kind of being a jerk again. Not to people. Not to Sherman, but I understood his anger from the moment that like Sherman does it to the way back to the moment he breaks something with Da Vinci. because he broke time. He broke something that's in time. Something in that era could actually be something that would happen in our world. Like planes would actually be broken because of that. Because if the flying machine was something that worked, it broke.
Well, actually, there's the Wright brothers.
Yeah, but the thing is, the Wright brothers wouldn't be able to do it because the thing would be broken. They'd find out, oh, things break. I don't want. I don't want to make a plane that would break. It would cause them not to do it. Why do you think Peebo's upset? I understand now. Like he's upset because he broke something, and it's not. You're not supposed to do that in time. You know what? Like they do it in like.
But I think in time, when Leonardo da Vinci was trying his flying machine, it actually did break. I think.
No, the story is that he had his son use it once, and then he landed it fine. It broke its wing when it actually landed. But this is like destroyed, not broken wing. The Wright brothers took that idea and they made a little more bits of it to make it actually
A little
work.
bit more stable.
Yeah, and then they did their time, and it was able to fly a bit and then come down without needing to have. It had the ability to actually land without the with actual wheels. It was wooden wheels that it made. Anyways, Peabody is stern. Lee Da Vinci fires the machine, causes the rotations to create enough energy, and they boom out of there. And then his freaking machine comes out of nowhere, and he's like, "Oh, leave me alone, no, no, no." And then we see a moment where it's quiet. Well, not quiet, but like as they're going through time, the scene gets intense because as like Peabody is typing the chorus home, you can tell like he's not he's not he's not upset. He's just very cross. It's like a word I could say. Like he's cross to Sherman,
He's disappointed.
basically like a father, and it's not because he's being in like an insecure dad. Is that he's trying to he was trying to make his son not do something that could end up destroying more time. I was wondering, do you think the reason why they had a black hole is because he broke time?
I don't think so.
Well, the idea is that the black holes are caused from the time stream, and they only happen if the anomalies are in the time. That's what Peabody said, like, basically.
Anyways,
Uh, it's four. Alright, so the idea is, anyways, Sherman and Peabody just looks at both of them, stern faces, and as he's typing the chorus home, Benny just kind of gestures Sherman to go over and just talk to him. Sherman says, "I'm sorry I broke the plane, Mr. Peabody." And he's like, "Well, you should be. You could have been hurt or killed." And of course,
and then Penny
it's like,
backs him up.
what are you talking about, Peabody? Sherman was able to fly fine,
He was amazing.
and of course, Peabody's like has a rub in and saying Sherman broke a priceless artifact in time, and of course she's like whatever. Besides, at least you now know he's not a total loser after all. And then freaking Sherman has to copy that.
It's like a parrot.
Yeah, but I didn't like the way he did it. It's just odd and rude. And then Sherman, he is basically like well, sir, like he's just he's sad, but he's just it's just kind of like that moment in the movie where like,
And then,
shh, shh, but you gotta be really quiet because you're I hear someone upstairs.
oh, the dogs are being let out.
Oh. Anyways, basically, the idea is Peabody is too